Ladies and gentlemen, this is Zach Eastman. The tragedy today in Orlando demands we take a brief pause from our show, and for a moment, let us think that there are 50 people fallen, 53 wounded, and hundreds of families suffering. What you can do is check your nearest blood bank and keep updated through the city of Orlando on how you can help out the families and the victims. There is a verse in America the Beautiful that sums it all up. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. And crown thy good with brotherhood. That is our heritage. Let us live up to it.
Connecting to the Real Nerds is so easy. You can go to our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You can like us on Facebook. We have a Twitter account, @RealNerds. We also have Instagram. You can call us, 720-6nerds5. You want to email us? You can do that too, realnerds@gmail.com. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast at Denver Comic-Con. Denver Comic-Con happens next week. Make sure you get your tickets. It is June 17th through the 19th. You will see the Real Nerds there doing panels, doing interviews. So come by and say hi. We are near Artist Alley.
I'm excited. This is going to be a weird year.
If you're looking for us, there's an Xfinity media outlet. We will be by Xfinity.
We will be next to it.
Yes. So if you want to come and talk on the show, please do, because we will be there. We'll talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And we're really looking forward to it.
We're going to have...
there's an outsider's chance that I'm going to be doing a really cool panel.
We're going to have, a lot of the normal stuff that we've got. You can come and get stickers and all kinds of cool stuff. We are also going to have limited releases of T-shirts. They're awesome this year. If you didn't get a chance to message us online and order one, there will still be some there in
$15 each?
$10 each.
$10 each?
Yeah, $10 each. Which is basically me selling them just slightly above cost.
James, you don't have to tell people that.
No, I'm just
You don't need to know your profit margin.
No, I've made them as cheap as I possibly can.
Like every year.
Yeah, always have. Yeah. I think there was one year, now that we're getting to a place where we're selling more, actually the price has gone down, so there was a year where I made them 12 because we were only printing 30 shirts or something. So anyway, they're really cool. You got to come check them out. But they're going to be very limited if there's enough demand.
So you know what question I'm going to ask Ralph Macchio and C. Thomas Howell?
What?
Which one of you started the fire in the church? That's an outsider's joke.
I was going to say, is that St. Elmo's Fire? Is that what that's from?
No, that's A Man in Motion.
Cool.
No laughs for Man in Motion?
No,
you guys suck.
No.
Close your eyes.
I can feel St. Elmo's Fire burning in me.
This week on Real Nerds Podcast, Brad is shooting a movie, so Zach's filling in for Brad. Hi, Zach.
Hey!
And the person who's hawking our T-shirts is James.
Sorry, that's my job.
Yep. Every week, the Real Nerds go see a new movie. We podcast our experience to the world.
Some weeks we go see 3 new movies.
Yeah, because...
because Ryan's a jerk.
Yep.
Just to get that off the bat.
Totally. Or I'm not the jerk. It's the programmers showing Warcraft are jerks. I'm not joking. So I looked at... So Alamo is only showing it twice, which is fine. They have a smaller theater.
Well, and it's because
one of those is the 11 o'clock show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of it is no one is going to see Warcraft. So... no one is going to show Warcraft. Right?
And then the theaters by my house, the AMC on Bowles, is showing it more, like 6 times, but it wasn't showing another one until a lot later. And then the Denver West one by me is showing it only like 5 times.
Yeah.
Unless I want to see it in IMAX 3D and I don't want to spend $18 on the movie.
Yeah.
So James saw Warcraft.
I did.
Zach saw Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
Yeah.
And I went and saw The Conjuring 2.
It's a fascinating week.
3 totally different films.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
Take your pick. So yeah, like I said, we talk about movie news, what's going on Blu-rays, stuff we've been watching, and then our feature film
Reviews.
We spoil the movies, so make sure if you want to see them.
But we'll for this week we'll give ample warning, and B, hopefully we can try to spoil them as least as the least as possible, considering that each of us saw a movie that none of the rest of us have seen.
Yeah, well, the thing too is I was going to do my whole thing like I did with Zootopia, where I let you guys talk about London Has Fallen for a long time, and then drop it on you that I saw Zootopia.
Yeah.
But James was asking me too many questions before we started, so
Honestly, it's because this. I mean, we'll get to it later, but this is going to be a really difficult movie for me to review, and I desperately needed someone else to see this movie, especially somebody who hasn't spent the last 20 years inside of Warcraft. Whoa, hey, inside of Warcraft
It's a
lore.
long time to spend.
Well, I was
inside
saying
of
you're a boy inside of a man's body.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sure.
You didn't let me finish my
are.
joke.
Sure. Wow. If that was the joke, dude, that's why I didn't let you finish it.
I know you didn't laugh at my "Say Almost Fire" Man in Motion joke.
St. Elmo's Fire was my joke.
Well, you said
very
"St.
much.
Elmo's Fire" and I said "Man in Motion" because that's the name of the song.
Yeah.
Maybe we should play 30 seconds of the song so people know what I'm talking
No.
about.
No. We're not.
It doesn't matter. I'm still going to be the guy with late jokes going like, I can feel it burning in me.
Anyway.
I wish I was as clever.
So it'll be rough. Hopefully somebody else goes and sees Warcraft in the next few weeks so that I have someone to talk about this movie with, because we'll get to the review eventually, but I'm very confused. And I had a great time.
It doesn't seem like a movie that's confusing, James. It's orcs and humans and orcs fighting.
You'd think so.
I guess I don't know.
You don't know, do you?
I don't.
Yeah, so that's this week. What else do we do, Ryan?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's how we roll.
Yeah, I've been doing this long enough, I know.
Oh, I will say too, DC Denver Comic Con did announce a new panel, and it's all the DC editorial staff, so all their big head honchos are coming out
Oh, wow.
to talk about DC Comics Rebirth. So
You'd be like, hey guys, look at this new logo. What's everybody think?
nice. So hopefully it'll work for them. It is cool. The one thing I do like about DC's Rebirth is they're going back to the original numbering and embracing their previous canon again.
Yeah.
Which I think makes sense because the New 52 started out good, and then everyone's like, "This stuff sucks."
Why does Wonder Woman have pants?
Yeah, I mean that
Come
just goes
on.
against everything Wonder Woman is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pants.
But if you're looking for a great place to pick up your DC Comics Rebirth, make sure you head to my Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics in Arvada. Say hi to Andrew, and he will tell you he doesn't like DC.
Welcome to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics. We hate DC. How can I take your order?
They don't. To be fair, he still has a very large selection of DC comics.
It's still a great place to buy your DC comics.
And if you like them, then heck, Andrew will make sure you get them.
Yep.
Begrudgingly.
Yeah.
I won't say this on air. But I've seen Andrew converse with people who love DC very enthusiastically.
I believe it.
But he does, he loves Gotham Academy, and that's a DC property.
Yeah.
So they have some redeem. I love Batgirl.
He's an open-minded guy.
He is.
Yeah.
I love Batgirl. It's
Most of
awesome. Batgirl of Burnside.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Let's start the show with movie news.
Cool.
It's real news.
You better have it ready, James.
Oh, I do.
I'm
It's
not
right
going to sit
here.
here all freaking night waiting for it.
I do. There's a few quick things in here that I'll run through. Scott Derrickson this week tweeted about the fact that he's going to be at not Denver Comic Con. Oh, dude, wouldn't that be?
I love me some Scott
Oh
Derrickson.
man, sorry.
I was going to bring him Hellraiser 5 Bloodline to sign.
He's going to be at San Diego Comic Con this year, and from some of the responses, it sounds like James is going to be there too, which may mean that Disney's going to have Marvel Studios start to have a presence at
I bet they're going to
San Diego
they're gonna
Comic-Con
announce who Michael Keaton's playing in Spider-Man.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
The other one's pretty sure it's the Vulture, but
Because for the past couple of years with D23, they've been they were pulling out and Comic-Con was getting a lot smaller, which personally I think is fine. As kind of cool as it was there for a while to have so many movies doing all this stuff there, it wasn't I don't know. It just felt like it was turning it into something that it wasn't. Why why were there big panels about the Twilight movies there, and like long lines of people waiting to hear about the new Twilight movie? Like, it just didn't make sense. But Marvel Studios needs to be there. So I think it's cool.
I saw the fangirls at that particular Twilight. It was the New Moon panel.
Oh, yeah?
When I went to SDCC that year.
Yeah.
They were chasing after what's his face's car, Robert Pattinson's
Yeah.
car.
Really?
For Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least he's got something going for him.
And not just a foot face.
Yeah, seriously. He's almost as much of a foot as that kid from the Hunger Games, like the bread dude. Looks like a foot.
PETA.
Yeah. Ryan, can you explain to me what 24 Legacy is? What is it?
It is a spin-off of the 24 franchise starring some new kid. And it's basically
Okay.
just making...
They're gonna make more 24, but without Kiefer Sutherland.
Without Kiefer Sutherland.
Though he might, I saw that he might like cameo in it.
Yeah,
really
I'm sure he
quick.
will. I think he's an executive producer on it.
Yeah.
It's made by all the same people who made 24.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because, I mean, you've had
Tell a new story.
9 seasons of 24.
Right.
And I mean, I love Jack Bauer, but tell a new story. It's fine.
Right.
We can
I mean,
pass the torch
yeah. Because, I mean, how many episodes? So 24 times 8. And then the 9th season was only 12 episodes. So, I mean, whatever that is.
I was gonna say.
Well, that's
like,
that's 32. So 192 episodes.
You said you were real nerds, not math nerds.
Now I'm going to
yeah.
do this because I think that's wrong too. No, I think it's 192.
Yeah. As soon as you started doing the math, I was like, dude, don't do math on a podcast. This is
It's 192 guys. Like I was right.
Nicely done, sir. Nicely
Plus
done.
10, so
Yes.
so plus 12, so it's 204 episodes of Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes, hon, you're very smart. Shut up. So this week in the grand opus of What Are Women Ruining Next, they're gonna
My
make
life.
they're gonna they're gonna make a version of Ocean's 11 that's an all female cast.
Oh, this is old news.
No, it's totally fine. Yeah, I'm just being sarcastic. Like, seriously, honestly, the only thing about this that bugs me is like, hey, how come women can't just like be in a cool heist movie? How come we gotta like make we're gonna do this, but with all women? Like that's the pitch.
Women
is
are
like,
in a cool heist movie. It's called Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah.
nicely done, sir. Yeah, it's just watching the internet, man. It's stupid. The Mallrats is going to be a TV show, I guess. Is sort of where we're going now.
Okay.
I don't know.
So was Hit Somebody, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I want him to make that movie. I want him to stop making shit that looks like garbage. Stop doing all the weed. And make those good movies that I've longed for a while now.
You don't want Tusk 2?
No, and honestly, after watching the trailer for Yoga Hosers, I don't want that either. Like, oh god,
I was kind of turned around by the trailer for Yoga Hosers.
oh no, I was on board with Yoga Hosers till I saw the trailer and was like, what the fuck is this dog shit?
I was kind of like, okay, I'll bite. What do you got?
I mean, I'll see it.
Oh no, I'm gonna see it. I can't not see it. I don't know that if anyone made a movie that had bratwurst Nazis in it, I think I'd have to see it.
Bratzies?
Bratzies, yes.
Right, exactly. I think I'd have to see it. It is not what I want out of Kevin Smith by far. Right, as a follow up to his magnum opus Red State, which is a masterpiece of a film, he has never even touched it again. Like, Hit Somebody was him talking like the guy who made Red State. Of like, I have this thing that I love. Here's a great story. It's driven by characters, and there's a thing at the heart of it that I really love and care about. I was like, fuck yeah. Like, and it's got a Warren Zevon song in it. I am there. And then he's never made that movie, and I'm sad. Anyway.
Yep.
So,
an episode of The Flash people like. I don't know.
I don't
I've
know,
never seen The
whatever.
Flash.
yeah. From what I've seen of The Flash, I think that people like The Flash no matter what happens on The Flash.
He can run fast, James.
I don't know if confirmed is the right word. So the story here is that John Williams is finishing up doing the score for BFG right now. And there was a big news story this week where John Williams basically said, like, hey, I'm going to do the next Star Wars movie, provided that I can. Every time that you talk to John Williams these days, he always says, like, if I can, I'm going to do this, which is like this terrible way of John Williams to say, like, if I'm still alive, I'm going to do Star Wars, which I just don't want to talk about. Like, I don't want to live in a world where we have to deal with the fact that John Williams is going to die someday.
Listen, guys, I'm old, and
Yeah. And honestly, I bet if it weren't for the fact that it's Steven Spielberg, the dude would retire. Like, if people didn't keep coming back to him going like, Steven called, or, hey, we're going to make a Star Wars movie, he's like, oh, man, come on, guys, like, would you please leave me alone? I'd like to, like, garden and spend time with the rest of my family. But unfortunately, he's, the greatest film composer ever.
So there's no argument, James.
No, I know. Well, like, in the back of my head, I was like, well, maybe some of the old... No, it doesn't matter. Like, once
there's
again,
other good ones.
There are other fantastic guys, yeah. But most fantastic composers have one or two great scores in their life. Like, when I look back at them, there's like, I mean, really top score, like, very special, unforgettable scores. Dude, his score to Hook is better than most people's scores.
You keep on going back to Hook. James.
Hook's really
Let
good.
it fucking go.
Hook is really good,
It
and
is
the score
really
to Hook,
good.
Rufio,
Really
the
good.
score
Really
to
good.
Hook, the score to Hook is amazing. Better than the vast majority of Hans Zimmer's scores.
I love his
Bam.
Catch Me If You Can score.
yeah.
Oh gosh, it's so good.
Oh, but see, me
And that's us not even talking about Star Wars, Indiana Jones, or Superman,
or Jaws.
or Jaws, or
Rate it.
Jurassic Park. Like, anyway, he's really
Schindler's
good.
List, Saving Private Ryan, Munich.
Yeah, it's really good.
These are things he's done.
Anyway, so the reason that it was news was because he'd said like, oh, and then I'll come back for Indiana Jones 5 too if that happens. And of course, then everybody's like, he's coming back for Indiana Jones 5. Meanwhile, there's not really been any news about Indiana Jones 5 lately. It's probably going to happen. Like, it's going to happen.
They said Spielberg and Harrison Ford are going to be in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they
set a release
have a date. Yeah, the release
happen.
date is 2019.
It'll happen.
I believe it'll happen. I'm just saying, it wasn't really news. It's
Fucking happening, James.
it's an old man who was talking in an interview and said, "Yeah, I'll do that." Like, okay,
And Disney said, yeah, here's a bunch of money.
right? Oh, totally, absolutely.
I hope he searches for the lost city of Atlantis.
I don't care what he searches for, as long as it's like character driven and has cool action scenes, and as long as George Lucas has no part in it at all. Honestly, like, man, everything that Steven said about that movie, he's my best friend, Steven. We're very close. Everything that he said about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull before Crystal Skull came out was like, oh man, he gets it. He totally gets it. He's like, everything's going to be practical, and we're going to do it like this. And then he went and made the movie, and it came out, and everybody went, wait, Steven, what happened? And the only thing I can assume is George Lucas happened. I'm sorry. Anyway, very last thing is we're gonna get that sequel to The Passion of the Christ that everybody's been waiting for.
Shit, finally.
It's actually funny because I remember when Passion of the Christ came out. Of course, I went and saw it, and afterwards, my mom was like, "Why make a movie about like the least fun part of the story? Like, why not tell the fun parts of the story where like the dude gets to?"
Because it's controversial.
Well, it's also like where two things. One, this was during the time where Mel Gibson was a heavy alcoholic, and two, it's also because he's a like deep Catholic. Like it, there's a lot to that. But like you can't tell like the story about him telling a nice story or helping people. Like, come on,
There's no drama in that.
There totally can be.
Jim Caviezel dragging a cross through the city and bleeding everywhere in slow motion for 3 hours is that movie 3 hours long?
True.
It fucking feels like.
I would
2
agree.
hours and 20 minutes.
I haven't watched it since I saw it.
I actually think his Apocalypto is way better.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Apocalypse is a great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Passion of the Christ is actually pretty good, but my favorite part of it is the first 10 minutes. Like that opening sequence in the garden is the best part. Like that's why for me, I want that. Dude, go tell the story of Jesus going into the desert and arguing with the devil for however many days. Like that's a movie. Man.
They made that. It was called The Last Temptation of Christ.
I want to talk to you. I don't want to
Remember
talk
in
to
Last
you.
Temptation of Christ when Jesus gets in there and starts punching everybody?
I used to believe in love, but now I believe in this.
Yeah, that's not quite what I meant. But anyway,
James just doesn't get Bible movies.
hey, wait till we get the DVD releases. Anyway, and I guess because we're not reviewing the movie really now, this is kind of news that Warcraft is going to bomb in America. Going to make $200 million in the first weekend, though, or more than that, because it's like blowing up overseas. Like one of the biggest releases, or the biggest release in China ever.
For sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It just passed whatever huge movie came out there and everyone loved. I forget.
Avatar?
No, it was recent.
Avengers?
Maybe.
Transformers?
No.
Yeah, so it'll do 25 million.
No, the Chinese people have good taste in movies, so the Transformers definitely did not.
Hey. So yeah, it'll do like 25 million this weekend in the U.S. and then, or in the first 2 days, it'll do what, 40 for the weekend, something like that is what they're predicting.
In the U.S., no, it did 24.4.
Oh, I thought that the 24 was just through yesterday. Oh, okay. Anyway, and then it'll, do something ridiculous overseas. Yeah. And with the budget that it has, they'll make a sequel, which honestly is what I want. So
maybe you have to go to China to see it.
No. What I expect will happen is Blizzard will make enough money. Blizzard has enough money that this movie could flop and they could make another one.
They sleep on large piles of money at night.
Yeah, they do. Like when you actually go look into how much money World of Warcraft has made that company, it's the numbers are staggering. I don't know how you spend that much money.
They're so smart too. Before my movie, I was at Regal, and they're showing a thing. It's like, if you buy a ticket to World of Warcraft, we'll give you World of Warcraft for free
for a month. Yeah.
You
gotta hit that vein, man.
Yep.
Gotta get you going. I've been sober for 5 years now. I'm not going back. Though this weekend was really tempting, and I played a lot of regular Warcraft. Like I went and found like this weird Russian download of the 1996 Warcraft game and played it for most of yesterday. I was like watching movies and playing old Warcraft, which is a terrible game if you play it these days. But I just I wanted the story.
It's a bird. It's from Russia. Any Iron Man 2 fans in here?
Yes.
Is this on?
Yeah. No, I got you.
Left my bird.
If you could dance like Sam Rockwell, we'd be rolling in the money.
It.
I'd pay $20 to see Ryan do the Justin Hammer dance.
Anyway, that's news.
What's coming out on Blu-ray?
DVD releases and Blu-rays. Dude, this week.
I know.
This is a good week, man.
I'm only getting 3 movies because I ordered them all together, and by doing that, I saved like $15 on ordering them. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I ended up getting, I think, all 4 of the big movies I wanted from last week. I just walked. I was at a Walmart and then a Best Buy. I think that's the way I did. Yeah, anyway, and just came upon them and was like, yeah, I'm gonna get I need Hail Caesar and I need Zootopia and Anyway, it was a good week. This week I'll be getting 10 Cloverfield Lane. Easily one of the best movies of the year so far.
Yep. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, that's so good.
Yeah. Have you seen this?
But it's John Goodman. That has to be an early Oscar performance.
Oh, absolutely.
I hope so.
And I don't know if you've seen this cover, but it's basically the poster, only they've got Mary Elizabeth Winstead and John Goodman. John Goodman looks so badass on this cover. It's so good.
Do you know how great his performance is in that? He does this breathing where he's like...
Yes.
When he's getting mad and wants to say something to people.
No, it's like Dan Connor when he's run too much, right? Like that's the sound. That's like a.
When in Roseanne did Dan Connor run too much?
I don't know. Every now and then I think he's like, oh.
There are moments when he did heavy breathing, but I don't remember him ever running.
Roseanne just found out that I cheated.
But how creepy is
you had to bring up the worst part of Roseanne. What is wrong with... I'm sorry, I'm going to give him shit for this.
It never happened.
What is wrong with you?
Nope, it never happened. I live in a world where that never happened.
Thank you.
Remember how creepy he was after he killed that one guy, and then he came back and he was all shaved and clean looking? And,
gosh. And he hands her the ice cream.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I should see that movie.
Yeah. All 4 Bourne movies are getting a Blu-ray collection.
I have the Bourne trilogy, and I'm good.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I have all 4 because I got.
Do you really?
Yeah, I got Legacy for $1. The Young Messiah is getting its Blu-ray release this week. So
remember in the Bourne Supremacy, or no, which one is it? Bourne Legacy.
Bourne Legacy.
Yeah.
Where it really starts getting going and then it fucking ends.
I was just gonna say, remember where you're cooking along and you've had a really cool action scene and the story's starting to pick up and then it just stops.
They're on a boat.
You're like, oh, we must be on our way to the finale of the film. Like they're going to have some big action scene on some island somewhere or something. Cool. Wait, why are the credits rolling? Wait.
And I even say till after the credits, I'm like, there has to be another scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever.
Yep.
Good for Jeremy Renner.
More disappointing than Duplicity. So yeah, The Young Messiah is getting its Blu-ray release this week. So if you
like Anne Rice,
to
the
see
author
that?
of Interview with the Vampire, then
I guess I need to see it. I saw the other one, and it was all right.
sure.
It's interesting that Risen came out last week on Blu-ray, right? Or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
No, yeah, it was last week.
For the reason.
Sally Field's Hello, My Name is Doris is getting its Blu-ray release this week, which was a kind of neat looking one. Hey, do you remember Eddie the Eagle?
Yeah.
Yeah. That movie was great. It's getting its Blu-ray release.
Yeah,
this
that
week.
was a fun movie.
Yeah, totally worth checking out. So if you haven't seen that,
That'll be one of the ones I get when it's like $7.99.
yes,
Not that
absolutely.
I don't. I mean,
No, it's just a
I don't
movie you're going
mind
to
if
watch once, right?
Yeah,
Like it's not a
that
movie
I don't
that
mind paying more for it, but
no, yeah. Well, especially right now when you're like, my budget for movies this
Yeah,
week is or
exactly.
this month is going to be like
yeah, exactly.
$1,000.
I still have Comic-Con coming up.
Right, exactly. Airport, the complete collection.
I
So
still have to
that's
find a
that'll
way to
be-
explain to my wife I'm going to spend $100 on a Spider-Man comic. I don't need to have a bunch of movies either.
honey, I lost $100. I thought it was in my pocket. It's just not here. I don't know where it went. Hey, I found this Spider-Man comic,
I know I did just get the first appearance of Shocker.
dude.
I'll show it to you.
Dude, thank you. Yeah, please.
The Sinister Shocker.
Really quickly, if nobody's ever seen an airport movie, they should watch one.
Yeah, I have never seen an airport
Just out of
movie.
sheer curiosity.
So this collection's got Airport 1975, Airport 77, and The Concorde, Airport 1979.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Airport 77 had Karen Black in it, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So if you're ever wondering how John Romita makes a Shocker look cool,
Yeah.
make sure you see Amazing Spider-Man 66 with the first appearance of him, where he's like blasting a pillar and Spider-Man's jumping from it, and it says, who says this isn't Marvel's Age of Villains? In this issue, Spidey fights the Sinister Shocker.
Does he have the awesome costume from the
Yeah.
beginning? Oh my gosh.
They also explain why he needs it.
That must be the most like perfectly created comic book villain of all time, right? Like
Yeah.
every other comic book villain, you go back to the first introduction of the character, and you're like, why is he wearing like weird Peter Pan boots and like his face is all screwed up and weird, and like his costume is rainbow colors?
The Green Goblin hires Spider-Man to be in a movie
Right? Yeah. Right.
and flies on a broomstick, not a goblin glider. Yeah.
But the Shocker, with one of the greatest
They
costumes of all
explain
time.
why it's quilted.
I just
James,
love.
do you wanna know why?
I love that sentence. So
Why is
much.
it
Because
quilted?
he needs to reduce the vibrations from his gauntlets.
Of course. It's basically a fabric Faraday cage. I mean,
Yes.
come on, guys. We all know
Yeah.
what's going on here.
Well, he kicks the crap out of Spider-Man in their first tussle. Because
Oh my
Spider-Man
gosh.
takes him lightly. You do not take the Sinister Shocker lightly.
No, otherwise you'll get a shock to your system.
Yes. I'm going to shake the earth to its core.
I don't even think that was a pun. That was just a statement.
So, Spider-Man Homecoming writers,
my
make
goodness.
sure you have the first 10 minutes of Spider-Man Homecoming of him fighting the Shocker.
Yeah, and if you need any
his
ideas,
quilted costume.
if you need any dialogue ideas, just hit us up.
Yeah.
We'll work for free. Honestly, I will 100% write you some really killer Shocker dialogue for free. Just give me a call. I just want credits in the movie. You know, like if you can, it can when the writers.
I don't. I just want to be on set and give Tom Holland a high five.
No, I want there to be a separate credit at the beginning of the movie that's like written by
Shocker.
so and so and so and so. Shocker dialogue by James Hart and Ryan Frost. I think that would be fair. I mean, I think we've put in our dues.
I want to know
Climbing the wall, Spider-Man. I'm gonna crack him.
I still want to know who wrote the specific line for Amazing Spider-Man 2 when when Rhino goes, "I am a criminal,"
Oh, I think
because that was my favorite line in that
James
movie.
Vanderbilt.
That was
I hope it was James Vanderbilt.
man.
Anyways,
The X-Files The Event series, which is of course your TV season of that show, is coming out on Blu-ray this week, and I think there's a box set of the entire series as well to accompany
Makes
it.
sense.
So, speaking of box sets, the original series is getting another Blu-ray box set, which is weird since they also just announced that amazing looking Star
you
Trek
have to
set.
get the 50th
Yeah,
anniversary
like,
one.
I saw this one
Fuck
pop
that.
up. Yeah, I saw this one pop up, and I was like, "Why are you doing this?" And what's funny is there's a review down here that says, "Why? I would really like to understand what the difference is between what is being offered now and what is being presented, or what has been presented several times over. On the surface, there really doesn't seem to be any valid reason for me to buy a new set. The original series, blah blah blah." And basically, what he's saying is like, "Hey, I've already bought this. Why would I buy it again?" And then he reviews it poorly. I'm like, dude, it's for the people who don't already own it.
Well, that too, and if you see it, it's actually cheaper because they did what they did with the Next Generation, where they make it so. Okay, here's the thing: is Brad got Batman 66 and that fancy collector's one. I got the one that just comes with the Blu-rays.
Oh yeah.
So that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, for $60, you're getting all 3 seasons.
Yeah,
pretty dope. It's that's not bad.
But the one you're talking about comes with all the movies, the animated series, and all the TV shows.
Yeah.
And it's in this beautiful like black and gold case. Are you kidding me? Man, I'm not even a fan of the TV show, but I'm a fan of that box set.
Right. Absolutely. Agreed.
You buy it just to spite other nerds.
Yep.
I feel like I mentioned this last week, but maybe it's getting released again. Miles Teller and Anna Kendrick and Bryan Cranston have a movie called Get a Job that's coming out on Blu-ray this week. It sounds like it was a straight-to-DVD movie, but it's got those two in it, or those 3 people in a movie. Makes me want to see a movie.
It was a split VOD theatrical.
Oh, okay. So that's why. Oh, okay. Neat. The first season of Ballers with
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yep.
He plays a agent who used to play football, and it's kind of like a dramedy, and it's
like a spy agent.
No, like a sports agent.
Okay.
So it's fun.
So that's a sports thing.
Yep.
Cool.
It's fun.
Power Season 2 is coming out. And speaking of which, have you seen? I saw the first actual trailer for Central Intelligence. Mm-hmm. Dude, The Rock is fantastic.
Oh, he's awesome.
Why is it that that's a movie where clearly it was supposed to be like, oh, you take The Rock and you put him with Kevin Hart, and Kevin Hart will be funny, and then Kevin Hart's the straight man in this movie. Like, The Rock is the guy who is, stealing everything.
Well, I think because the trailer I saw today was they're like sitting and they have all these guns on him. He's like, okay, I have a totally cool idea. And if it works, it's going to be totally ballin'. If it's not, we're dead.
Yes.
Cool.
It was a really great. Other than the trailer starts with this like terrible CG fat The Rock getting picked on, and I was like, this is awful. But then once it just became The Rock's gonna be funny, I was like, this is an awesome movie. I want to see
James,
this movie.
I'll let you borrow The Rock, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment Blu-ray, and you can watch him like be awesome in front of 30,000 people. Don't watch the wrestling is whatever, but watch him do interviews.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, absolutely. Honestly, the trailer is so good it makes me want to watch The Tooth Fairy. Like, he is so good in that movie that I'm like, is The Rock always the best thing? Like, can he make any movie actually really like palatable?
Yeah. I would say so.
I genuinely like either that or what was the one where like he and a little girl play football?
Oh, the game plan.
The game plan. Yeah, I should go watch those movies and go like, oh yeah, sure enough, he can make anything into gold.
Try watching Pain and Gain again. See what happens.
I like Pain and Gain.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
He's great in Pain and Gain.
Yeah, he's great.
Man.
He's great. He's fun.
That's a Johnny Woo line.
Conan: The Complete Quest. So both the Barbarian and the Destroyer are in a Blu-ray box set this week.
I have all of those.
Yep.
I'm still waiting for Red Sonja on Blu-ray.
Keep waiting. So now we're gonna finally get into the horror section this week. There is a documentary called Blood on the Reel, which is a documentary about independent horror movies. So maybe check that out. I don't know.
Actually, it's interesting.
Yeah. So Scream Factory this week has got 2 separate releases. Jeepers Creepers and Jeepers Creepers 2 are both getting separate
First
Blu-rays.
Jeepers Creepers is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've seen both those movies half a dozen times, which is weird.
That is weird.
Because I don't watch those kinds of movies. There's something about Jeepers Creepers 1 that I'm like, this is fun as hell. Even though, like, it doesn't make any sense.
It is unusual. That movie is what I think makes that movie special.
He's Justin Long.
That, and it starts off as like this them being terrorized by this dude in a truck.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it's like this badass creature thing, and it's kind of a different kind of movie.
It's weird. Like it just doesn't. Yeah. It's like they came up with a cool mythos for this weird character, and then the characters interacting with him, like it's not like they come to a house or something. Like it's just, hey, there's a weird back street in the middle of some state somewhere, and there's a weird creature that kills anyone who drives down that street.
And of course, those movies are very controversial for the director in them.
Really? Why?
You don't know the story behind him?
No.
He was convicted in the 80s of like child pornography.
Oh no!
And he was in prison for 15 years. He's in there.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
I've never seen a Jeepers Creepers movie.
Oh, yeah, Victor Salva. He was in prison for a very long time.
Wow.
And when he got out, he made powder for Disney. And when people found out he did that, they were up in arms. So he's kind of like an independent filmmaker now. And
He made powder. Interesting.
so I mean, I understand the controversy behind it. But at the same time, I mean, he was in prison for a long time.
Isn't Jeepers Creepers 2 about a bus full of kids getting killed by the Jeepers Creepers man?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but
But they're like high school students.
yeah.
Would you recommend
doesn't make it
the
better.
movies?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
The first one's a great movie.
Even I would say the first one's really fun. Part of it is that the dialogue between Justin Long and the girl who plays his sister is really fun. Like I think that's why I like the movie. Is that
And the
those-
creeper is a really cool design.
Yeah.
In the first one, he wears like a hat and a duster almost the whole time.
He kind of looks like a scarecrow, but with the face of like the villain from Bug's Life. You know? Like
Yeah.
no, really. Like he looks
Wow.
like a man version of a grasshopper.
Interesting.
It's really interesting. You should watch him.
Yeah.
Do you own them?
I don't. I'm getting this.
He's
back.
he's waiting for the Scream Factory releases.
Oh, looks like I'm going to be doing my Scream Factory collection build up again.
yeah.
Especially after what I heard they're going to be releasing.
Oh yeah. I told you they were going to.
He told me, and I didn't believe him. And sure enough, Scream Factory announced they're releasing The Thing.
Well, it was actually
Dude.
on my like wish list because when they acquired Universal's catalog, I was like, oh man, they got to do The Thing.
Yeah.
They just have to.
Is there what are they going to add to the Blu-ray? Like I saw the cover.
It's tons. It's like 2 discs, and the second disc is all special features. You can
And
look
it's- and I'm
at Scream
sure-
Factory. They just put out the extras. It's like a whole new documentary, a new commentary by John Carpenter.
No way.
Do you think they'll have the old documentary, the one
They
on
do.
the... Ooh, yes.
It's
usually-
like
they usually put
85 minutes
everything on
long,
there.
standard.
Yeah.
depth.
But I already
It's on the
own
second disc.
I already own the thing on Blu-ray, so that's
Dude.
why I'm like, well,
Yeah,
if
get the
I
Scream Factory because the Scream Factory is also a new 2K transfer.
oh okay, cool.
That and the current Blu-ray of The Thing is kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's
but-
not great. I'd
Yeah.
rather
Does it-
have the DVD.
And they commissioned new art for it. It looks awesome. You should just go
Can
to
I-
Scream Factory.
oh, the cover looks amazing, but it's hard for me to say like, yeah, I'm going to pay $25 for a new cover. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Oh yeah. No.
So that's why.
Here's the thing: is I own almost every Scream Factory release. Almost. I will always get their collector's editions.
Yeah.
Because they'll always put a new hour-long documentary.
That's why I asked. I was
Yeah.
like, the movie's been around for so long and has been celebrated for so long that the idea that there's much more they could do
Well, here's two,
surprises me.
so they're putting out Return of the Living Dead special edition,
Oh yeah.
which I love that film. And I was like, man, I don't know. I've seen because you gave me that documentary. I'm like, do I really need to get this one? So the Return of the Living Dead is, I think, 3 discs, and one of the discs on Blu-ray is that documentary that you got me. So they take all
That's
this stuff
cool.
and put it on there. Plus, they have a new documentary.
Yeah.
Plus, they have a new commentary. Plus, they have a vintage commentary with Dan O'Bannon, who died like 10 years ago.
Wow.
Something like that.
10, 15 years
Yeah.
ago, yeah.
So and the commissioned art for Return of the Living Dead is awesome. They really, really put their heart and souls into movies that usually don't deserve it. I mean, The Thing does. I'm not saying The Thing does.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jeepers Creepers
That's-
1 and 2 collector's editions. Come on.
Well, but that's why I asked the question. Is like Jeepers Creepers. I bet you could go scrounge up a bunch of content and make a really cool Blu-ray
Yeah.
that no one's ever seen before. The Thing is The Thing. Like I almost expected that the best you
Yeah.
could do is go get all the content commentaries from all the discs that they've ever put out.
There's like
because
3
it is
of
such a
them on
celebrated
there.
film.
I forget.
Yeah.
We guys keep,
But that's cool that they're adding that much.
Now
new
that we're
stuff.
talking about, I'll look it up for us so we can
Okay.
wet the whistle of
Does
our.
it come with a Blu-ray copy of The Thing, the prequel, as well? Because that's
think
what I
it
want.
Does.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not. Let me look at.
I was totally kidding because I was like, well, they'll never do that. But if it came with a copy of Mary Elizabeth Winstead's The Thing, I'd be totally down.
Were you a fan of that one?
Oh, 100%. Yes.
I liked it.
Like it's never going to be the thing, but they did some really cool stuff in that movie. There's a couple of sections I wish weren't CG.
So here we go. So it's a 2-disc collector's edition Blu-ray. I'm sorry.
Cool.
It's a new 2D scan of the interior positive, supervised and approved by director of photography Dean Cundley. A new 4.1 created from the original 70mm 6-track Dolby soundtrack. New audio commentary by the director of photography. New The Men of Outpost 31 with interviews with Keith David, Thomas Waits, Peter Maloney, and more. New Assembling the Assimilation, an interview with editor Todd Ramsey. New Behind the Chameleon, interviews with visual effects artists.
Wow.
A bunch of them. New Sounds of the Cold, interviews with supervising sound editor. New Between the Lines, interview with the novelization author Alan Dean Foster.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Vintage auto commentary with John Carpenter and Kurt Russell. The one you're talking about, John Carpenter's The Thing, Terror Takes Shape, a documentary of making The Thing. That's an hour and 20 minutes long. There's outtakes, vintage featurettes that are 12 minutes long. Vintage featurettes, making of the chilling tale, The Thing. Vintage production reel, vintage behind the scenes. Anointed production archive, storyboards, makeup effects. Network TV broadcast version of The Thing.
Wow.
Teaser trailer and theatrical trailers. TV spots and radio spots. Still gallery. That's all there.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. No, it doesn't come with it. I thought I read it did.
That's okay. That's okay.
But
I
those
already
are
own
all
that
the
one.
features on the collector's edition of
That is a crap ton.
That's pretty cool.
The Thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
when they get stuff like that, they really, really go all out. Scream Factory is a really cool label.
Yeah.
Because they, and then they're an imprint of Shout, and Shout has Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures coming out, and Bogus Journey on a special edition, Roadhouse special edition,
Dude.
So they're doing a lot of like niche titles and stuff.
How is Roadhouse a movie?
Because he rips throats out,
Dude, once. He rips the throat out once.
and he says,
I have to-
"Fuck you!"
Do you understand how much of that movie I had to sit through until he ripped a throat
So
out?
what? He still also does yoga naked.
That
He has 3 rules. Pain don't hurt.
I don't understand why that movie has the cult following it has.
Because it's fun.
Yeah.
Keep going with his rules.
Okay.
I love hearing them.
1, take it outside. There's no fighting in the bar. 2, what is 2? Fuck, I know 3 is. 3 is be nice.
Yeah, be nice.
Be
I
nice.
thought 2 had to do something with pain.
No, pain don't hurt is when he's in the hospital, schmoozing
Oh yeah.
the doctor, talking about it.
He did the dancing. Now he's gonna get dirty. That was the tagline.
I'm aware. Yeah. That movie is dog shit.
Being a cocksucker isn't personal. No, it's 2 nouns combined to elicit a prescribed response.
Terrible.
Okay, here you go. Here you guys go. This
Okay,
is from
all right.
Dalton,
All
Words of
right.
Wisdom. All you have to do is follow 3 simple rules. 1, never underestimate your opponent. Expect the unexpected. 2, take it outside. Never start anything inside the bar unless it's absolutely necessary. And 3, be nice.
Be nice. Oh, man. Anyway, to finish my thought before, I really like the prequel of The Thing, and especially like the ending.
Yeah.
I think they found a cool way to pay homage to the original ending, but do it in a way that was fresh and different and cool.
Right.
Because that flashing red light is just damning. It's really awesome. So, anyway.
If somebody gets in your face and calls you a cocksucker, I want you to be nice. Ask him to walk. Be nice. If he won't walk, walk with him, but be nice. If you can't walk with him, one of the others will help you, and you'll both be nice. You want to remember that it's a job. It's nothing personal.
Be nice. Anyway, that is Blu-rays.
No, it's not. You're missing all 3 Jaws sequels.
Yeah, you're right. Didn't that already happen?
No, it's this week. It's
okay.
They're coming in the mail for me.
Oh yeah, I saw.
Because this time it's personal, guys.
I saw them on there and was like, "Oh, those have been out before. I don't give a shit. They're the
Not on
sequels to
Blu-ray.
Jaws."
I'm so excited to watch Jaws 2 on Blu-ray.
Yeah, Jaws 2 is fine.
Yeah, Roche Schneider's in it.
Yeah, Jaws 2 is a fine sequel. To it's unfair to judge a sequel to one of the greatest films of all time.
It is. Hey, you know what we do, though? We watch a lot of movies throughout the week.
We do.
This is stuff we've been watching.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
That was a really long Blu-ray segment.
It was really long. Yeah. Well,
But
I think you had to read the entire script of Roadhouse at one point. So
Of course I did. Fuck you! The collector's edition better have a commentary with Patrick Swayze.
Better have the cover that has that tagline that I'm so obsessed with.
It probably does. I think the cover is
sure.
the one where he's like leaning against the bar door.
Yeah.
Like with the cowboy boot up.
That's the same one.
in a world where where bouncers at bars are famous like actors are, Roadhouse.
And there's a polar bear.
The polar bear fell on me.
Don't you know who that is? That's Dalton. He ripped a guy's throat out once. No, wait, really? That's him?
Yeah. Zach, what'd you watch this week? Roadhouse?
I didn't watch Row House.
But he's gonna go home and watch it now.
Yeah,
Should.
now I am.
All the cool people do.
So I really quickly, just three things. I saw X-Men: Age of Apocalypse.
What'd you think?
Yeah.
I saw you gave it your 2 mutants out of...
2 out of 4 mutants.
Yeah.
I thought for everything that I liked about the film, there were like 5 or 10 different things that I hated about this movie.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Oscar Isaac is one of them. I did not
Really?
like him in the movie. I did
fine.
not like him in the movie.
When is he in the movie?
He plays this guy named Ivan Ooze, and
Really? I
No.
don't think he looks anything like
he doesn't
it.
look.
He looks a
anything
lot like Ivan Ooze, but
I just love that joke on the internet where everybody was
Yes.
like freaking out about the purple.
no. I don't. It's not that. It's that every time even watching the movie, I totally forget it's like Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
like he's under enough makeup that I don't recognize him.
Right.
So that's why I made the joke. I like him, but
Some of the stuff that I did like about it, I actually like
Michael Fassbender?
I love Michael Fassbender.
Oh,
That
he's so
goes
good.
without saying.
yeah.
That goes without saying. Like that guy's been a solid part of this franchise from day one.
I think he's the anchor. Well, actually, I think James McAvoy's really good too. But
Oh, yeah,
those
he's-
two guys are great.
Yeah, they're fine. There's no catch-22 with them at all. Like there's no reason to hate on them.
Yeah, almost all of the performances in these movies are fantastic.
Now that being
especially from the mainliners.
Now that being said, I am a huge Jennifer Lawrence fan, and I thought you phoned this in.
I don't know that she phoned it in. I think that the script that has her in it is not very good.
Which was another thing I was going to say. The script feels like it was written by a 5-year-old with a Pepsi habit. But you know what I did love? I actually loved, and this because one of my favorite mutants is Cyclops, and I liked watching the interaction between him and young Jean Grey on the quad of the school.
Yeah.
I actually thought those were cute moments, and I dug it. And of course, I love Wolverine, so Weapon X was fun.
Well, yeah, Weapon X was cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it totally felt like it was added into the movie.
But it still was fun.
Oh, anytime I get Hugh Jackman being Wolverine, I'm down.
Yeah.
Like, I loved The Wolverine. It was one of my top 10 films from 2 years ago. I love
Yep.
The Wolverine.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's a good Wolverine movie too.
Yeah, because he's awesome. Eddie the Eagle. I love Hugh Jackman. I think he's a wonderful actor.
Right.
Yeah.
Second thing I saw was
And dreamy.
He is dreamy, sexy beast.
Remember Kate and Leopold?
Yeah. Remember how disappointing Real Steel was?
What? Holy shit, dude.
You're mean.
I fucking
You're
hate you.
utterly mean.
No.
Second thing I saw, I went with Brad yesterday to The Room Live with Greg Sestero.
That guy's awesome.
This was the 13th time I've seen The Room, and it was probably the funniest time I've been to a screening of The Room.
Is this the first time you've seen it? Oh no, never mind. Sorry.
No, this was the 13th time I've seen it.
No. I was gonna say with Weezo there, and then I realized Weezo wasn't.
I
there.
never saw it with
Yeah.
Wiseau. This was the first time I saw it with a cast member live. Sestero and a bunch of local actors actually did a reading of the original script to The Room
No.
that he wrote before it got changed for film. So there's no Denny in this script.
Wow.
Everything's very
I've never
condensed.
seen this movie.
Oh, dude, it's terrible.
You either got to be into it or you're not. Like I can't. This is not something where I can say, Ryan, go see this immediately
No.
because that's unfair to you.
I've only
I heard you have to see it live.
Yeah,
I've-
you have
I've-
to see it live.
Exactly what I was going to say. I've only seen it once, and I saw it with Tommy Wiseau there, and I don't even know that I could watch it again because, like, you need to see it with a group because when they're making fun of, like, they will point things out to you that will make
you
it
will not-
enjoyable. Because without that, it's just boring and garbage, right? Without the fact that every time that the shot from the opening of Full House plays, the entire audience of people will sing the opening theme
start
song
singing
to Full House.
everywhere you look.
Yeah, like if you don't have that, if you don't have people who yell focus every time a shot is out of focus because he shot it on 2 cameras at the same time because he didn't know if he wanted it to be digital or on 35, like if you don't have that, it's not entertaining. It's just a shitty movie that's out of focus.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you need a bunch of people to throw spoons at the screen, not because there's a spoon on the screen, but because you're in the middle of the most boring exposition scene you've ever seen. And so if you don't have that, all you are is watching a shit film.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like, it's not, on its own, The Room isn't fun the way that, like, Plan 9 is fun. It's just a boring dog shit film. That's poorly performed.
But with an audience, the film works. It's
shines.
comedic gold.
Oh, yeah.
The jokes that I was able to land, because I was able to land some of my own jokes there, were what kind of money, Denny? And I yelled out Deutschmarks. When Tommy pulls out the gun, I yelled out, "Oh, hi, gun!" And then finally, when the camera zooms out on him, I said, "Oh, bye, audience, bye, movie." And then together at one point, there's a scene where you think that Denny's gonna go try to suck Tommy's dick, and Brad and I yelled out, "Suck that dick! Suck that dick!"
It's such a bad movie.
Oh god!
Why is Denny even in the movie?
I don't know, but he's hilarious.
I just like to watch sometimes. You're the creepiest person on the planet.
There's at one point I didn't notice this before. Somebody pointed out that Denny might be high in one scene because he sits on the floor.
Oh, like
and I'm like, I didn't notice that before. He could be high.
Oh, it's such a terrible movie.
And then the third thing that I saw was I watched Radio Days again, which is it's a movie by our favorite punching bag, Woody Allen. But it's a more personal film.
I'm a big fan.
I like young Asian girls.
My God, Ryan, he's trying to give a review of my movie from the 80s. Please.
Speaking of Hugh Jackman, Scoop is just a masterpiece.
I would.
So
anyway, I saw Radio Days.
That was not me being serious.
My favorite Woody Allen movie is What's Up, Tiger Lily.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't remember anything. It's a poorly done.
Midnight in Paris is overrated.
Radio Days, though, is aesthetically, it's what inspired some stuff that I've done before. So it was interesting
So
watching
suppressing.
it.
Fuck, are you going to talk about Twombly again?
No. I'm saying it's stuff I've done before in terms of like production design and stuff like that. So it was interesting watching where that all came from. And actually, there was one more thing I watched. I watched Quiz Show again recently.
That's a good one.
Does anybody remember Quiz Show?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
How great that movie is, and
Yes.
how it came out in a year with other great movies. 94, a
Man.
great year.
Are
Pulp
you
Fiction,
trying to tell us?
Shawshank Redemption.
Are you trying
Quiz
to say?
Show.
Are you suddenly trying to say like, hey guys, maybe you should do 94?
Maybe we should do 94 at some point, but
I'm sure in September we'll have some.
I was going to say when the summer is over, man.
going for broke. That's a great year for film.
Absolutely.
But because also you get Clerks and you get Desperado. No, Desperado was 95. Sorry. But Quiz Show, if anybody doesn't know what that was, it was the story of the Van Doren scandal involving a show called 21, where the questions were being rigged for the sake of entertainment. Yeah. And Martin Scorsese has a cameo in it. He plays the sponsor of the show, and he does a really good job.
Best Martin Scorsese movie.
Somebody shoot.
Actually,
Somebody shoot him.
I might be serious. I don't know, man.
You might be.
I might be.
And yet,
Robert Redford's really good, by the way.
But you know what the great thing is I know how to tune you out now.
I've been doing it for 5 years.
I finally cracked the code. I don't know what virus I got from you.
If he fucking tells me that Hook is a good movie again,
Dude, Hook is so good.
Good for
you.
No, it's just a great movie, shot really well, directed beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
I love the line where they're listening to the radio and it talks about Sputnik. Sputnik has launched into space. America has everything to fear. And this car salesman turns to a guy he's selling a car to and says, America doesn't own the 300. That's my new catchphrase for America. America doesn't own the 300.
Man,
So that's all I watched this week.
I should go back and like rewatch all of Robert Redford's directorial films.
He's good. Have you seen The Conspirator?
no,
It was his Lincoln. It was his Lincoln death movie,
yeah.
and it's really good.
You really like it? I thought it was all right.
There's a number of the.
I wasn't unentertained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Performances are good in that movie.
It's
is
bizarre.
it Sally Field?
no,
No,
it's,
it's,
No, that's Lincoln.
What's her face?
it's can't remember.
Marissa Tomei.
No.
What's her butt?
Marissa Tomei always follows in Sally Field's footsteps.
But anyway, it was a good movie. And I haven't seen his new one, Truth, but we'll find out what that is about. He plays Dan Rather in the movie, so
That's right.
we'll see how that works.
Yeah. I don't always love him, but like the guy's done enough really great films that I should make sure I've seen all
James
of
should
his
see Lambs for Lions. He'll really like that one.
Oh yeah, I
Lions
love
for
that
Lambs?
one. That one will really be up my alley. Man, his River Runs Through It though is fantastic. Man,
Does a river really run through it?
dude? Yeah, it does. There's a
James, what'd you watch this week?
there's a rock, and under the rock are the tears of time or some shit. I don't know. There was a period where I memorized that whole last monologue of the book because I really love that paragraph. So anyway, this week I saw a bunch of stuff, so I'll skip through some of it. I rewatched The Social Network, and that's fantastic.
Nice.
And I rewatched Hail Caesar, which honestly I think I laughed just as hard this time.
Can you let me borrow that?
Absolutely, yeah. I'll bring it because it's because you never got a chance to watch it. Oh man, the guy. There are so many just like amazing little sequences in this movie that are just comedic gold. That honestly, even if the story that tied them together didn't work for me, I would still probably love this movie.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. That was a movie that was made specifically for me and nobody else.
Right, exactly. I can see that. Man, the scene with Ralph Fiennes and the guy who's going to play Han Solo, and they're doing that.
Aldrich Erickman.
Yeah, they're doing that single line of dialogue back and forth.
What did
And
it
so you-
were so simple?
Whether it were so simple.
sample.
Oh, it's just they just let that scene go. It just breathes for days. And then 15 minutes later, you've got Channing Tatum doing a full-length tap dance sequence. It's amazing. What a great movie. Anyway, the two things I do actually want to talk about is I got a chance to see The Gods of Egypt.
Nice.
And I don't know that I would say I was entertained as you sounded last week. The movie's not bad.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, it's super weird. It's a movie. Did you watch any of the special features?
No.
I was more entertained by the special features than I was the movie, because in the special features, you got all these people who clearly had no idea what the movie was or what they were supposed to be doing, but they just keep going. Like, every single person that comes into to be interviewed is like, oh yeah, like I read the script and I didn't know what was going on, and it didn't make. I didn't really. The guy from Game of Thrones at one point, he even says like, yeah, I didn't really get it until I saw the movie. I was like, holy shit! But everybody keeps going, but then like when Alex Proyas came on, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Clearly Alex Proyas has enough weight, which is weird to me, because for me, like, Alex Proyas is a guy who had a lot of weight, but like,
What's your favorite film of his?
it's Dark City, and the rest of his movies are palatable at best, right? Like, I think iRobot is really fun. Like, I've seen iRobot a dozen times. I like that movie. I think that Knowing is weird. Like, it's interesting, and there's some kind of neat stuff in that movie. Like, it's not. I don't remember terribly well. I feel like it got panned when it came out.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was at that time when like Nick Cage's career was really starting to hit the rocks, right? Like, he was coming off of your National Treasure movies and starting to just be in every single movie he could get his hands on. And that one came along, and it was like a big budget release, but you could tell like, oh, this is going bad. And then I don't even remember, what has Alex Proyas done since Knowing?
I know that's the only one I really know of his.
Oh yeah, I mean, for my money, like I said, I can't remember. I'll look it up here in a minute. I can't remember what he's done since The Knowing. But for my money, like Dark City is a brilliant film, and especially the director's cut it's one of those early films from a director where you look at it and you go like, this guy can do really special stuff, you know? Dark City for me is what other people seemingly got out of Duncan Jones from Moon, right? Like I went and saw Moon and was like, dude, this is predictable and I like the performance is great, but this is not a great, if anyone ever tells me that's a great, like instant classic sci-fi film, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Dark City did that for me, where like I see Dark City and I go, oh, this is a brilliant, cool movie that for me has stood up a lot better than like Donnie Darko did, right? Because everybody has that thing where the first time they see Donnie Darko, they're like, oh, okay, this is really weird and like mind-blowing. And then like everybody else is talking about Donnie Darko for a while and you're going, it's not that cool.
Yeah,
like
when you see Donnie Darko, you're like, meh.
You're like, I get it. I don't know why everybody's so confused.
Oh, no, totally. Yeah, I never knew why people were confused. But for me, it was a neat, cool, different kind of movie that then makes you go, oh, I want to see what this person does with a budget, with a script that's not weird, you know. But Alex Proyas has never really delivered for me after that. Like, he became, once he proved he could do it, he became like this very serviceable Hollywood director. Like, the art never came out of him again. And anyway, and so with this, I'm not going to go through the whole story of Gods of Egypt, but like because Ryan did it last week, there's a lot of weird moments in this movie. It is really cool where like, oh, all of a sudden, like there's just fucking big snakes and they got to run away from the big snakes.
That's what I mean. Like it literally just goes from
like
weird fights to weird fights.
Yeah. And it was more bizarre. I had forgotten you had told me that the gods were bigger than the humans. And so it was just every now and then, like I'd notice and I'd go like, oh yeah, right. Like they're weird.
Yeah. And it's funny because you never really know the motivation behind Set. He like just shows up and kills that guy's dad. He's like, I want to be the best god ever. Why?
Yeah, yeah, and then like when you find out what, like they go meet Ra, who's played by Jeffrey Rush, who's really good. Like when you first meet Ra, he has some line of dialogue that's like, if a bird ever got this close to me, I'd crush its head with a rock. Like he said, it's not that line of dialogue, but it's something like that where he just like flippantly says like, yeah, if you were anybody else, I'd kill you. And you find out like, oh, okay, so like. He built Set's whole life so that like Set's mad because he can't have kids and he's never going to be the king. And then Ra tells him like, oh well, I needed you to learn to like not be connected to anybody because I need you to take over for me when I die. And like that seems cool, but it's not really. Like,
that's the thing. It's like
it sounds more interesting than it is in the movie.
Bad. Like there's some cool like set pieces in it, but at the same time, like I don't understand what's happening.
There's a whole special feature on the Blu-ray where this guy's just listing off how, oh, well, this character, the effects for this character were done by this studio in Montreal, and the effects for this character were done by this studio in such and such a place, and
gotta fill 12 minutes of time.
No, all of the there were a couple characters that were completely done by the Phil Tippett Studios.
Oh, cool!
And I was like, oh, that's really neat.
Academy Award winner Phil Tippett.
Yeah,
you can find his interview on RealNerdsPodcast.com.
You can. What a badass dude. And the like, visually it's really cool most of the time.
That's what I mean. But like when they're in motion on stuff, it looks horrible.
Yes.
But then the snakes look pretty cool, and I think like Anubis looks cool.
Yes.
And then
anytime Anubis shows up and he like spins out of the ground, you're like, what? But but then the whole story with I think his name is Beck and Beck's girlfriend. I really hope his name is Beck.
It is.
I just really? Oh man.
Beck.
They should have got him to be played by Beck. That would have been really cool. Anyway, so Beck's in this movie and his girlfriend.
I'm a loser, baby.
Yes. Oh gosh.
So why don't you kill me?
So his summer girl gets stolen down to hell, and
it takes a really long time to be like the next person killed too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's in line forever.
Yeah.
They're killing people constantly, but when it's finally her who's next, it's like, we're gonna take our time now.
Sure. Something. It
Anyway,
doesn't make sense. I had fun watching.
Which even that part, I was like, wait, so you go to hell and then you die again? Like, I don't really. Whatever.
You got to turn off your brain.
Yeah.
And just know that it's these guys that turn into like giant robot things
and that part was cool.
Yeah.
You know.
I had fun watching
they turned
it.
into big robots.
I mean, Whatever.
Yeah, it's a weird movie. So, much better than it is I finally have now officially seen every Shane Black movie.
Nice.
And in fact now own every Shane Black
Nice.
movie.
Oh, are you talking about Monster Squad?
Yeah, so I got a chance to see Monster Squad, which I had never seen before. And honestly, if I'd seen this movie when I was a kid, this would have been like my Goonies. Like
It's my Goonies.
like I've always been like, oh yeah, Goonies is cool, but it's like I don't love it.
It's the Goonies with monsters and better dialogue.
Yeah, oh, dude. So there's literally
This is my wish. I'm taking it back. No. Kick Wolfman in the nards.
so
My name is Horace.
there's literally a line in this movie that shit, and now I'm gonna get it wrong. There's a line in this movie that I laughed so hard I immediately rewound it and watched it again. So there's a character named Fat Kid, and they're hanging out in the clubhouse. I guess I should explain what Monster Squad is, but first I'll tell you this. So they're hanging out in the clubhouse, the treehouse, and they're talking about like, oh, we need to find a virgin. And the one guy's like, well, we could get my sister. And Fat Kid literally says, all your sister does is hang out and let boys touch her boobs. And I laughed. He delivers that line so perfectly. Like it just came out of him like nothing.
But see, there's so
and
many,
I
like-
laughed so hard I immediately rewound it and was like, I need to watch him do that again. That was so good.
Because it's so funny too. Because that part where you find out she's not a virgin, and
God, tell the whole world.
yeah, her brother's like, wait a minute, you're not a virgin. Well, Bobby, but it doesn't count.
Stephen, he doesn't count.
count.
Okay, so back up a second. So the story of Monster Squad is that it starts with this great credit scroll where it's like, oh, back in Transylvania, back in the ye olden days, Van Helsing and his dudes have got to go kill like this monster and do blah blah blah. And then it comes up and what's the exact verbiage? It says like
But they screwed up.
But they screw it up.
Or
Yeah, like
they screwed it or something.
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
It's something along the lines of, but they screwed the pooch, right? And then you see this scene and like they screw stuff up but the monsters go into like
portal or something?
hibernation or something for a while. Doesn't matter. All of a sudden it's the like 80s, and there's this group of kids and I don't even know, like they have this thing that they call Monster Club.
Yeah.
And they just hang out and talk about monsters. It's actually like these are the lamest kids on the planet, but whatever. But they do a really good job of like getting you to know this main kid whose name I forget. And
Sean.
Sure, Sean. And so
Phoebe.
like his parents are having a really rough time because
I love this fucking movie, by the way.
it's so good. So his parents are having a really tough time because his dad's a cop and he's not home enough, and like his mom, like they're fighting all the time. There's this amazing scene when when the mom is putting the sister to bed, and the sister says like, oh, Sean picked on me, or Sean said such and such a thing, and the mom's like, no, that's not true, and she goes, are you gonna yell at him? And the mom goes, honey, I love your father. She goes, what? No, I meant Sean. Like, are you going to yell at Sean? Like this whole tension between the parents is so palpable that there's this, it's just a really great exchange where she completely misinterprets what the daughter says.
Yeah.
Cause she's just constantly like, our kids know that we're fighting. Like they can see us fighting constantly.
And it's what's great about this movie too is not only the snappy dialogue. I think it's actually pretty horrific. The part where the Wolfman gets out and he's in the phone booth. He's like,
Dude, the
he's
Wolfman's-
going to kill your son. And he's like ripping his clothes off and
Yes.
foam's going everywhere. And they also have the scary German guy. And he says, he's like, not all
yes.
monsters wear masks. And you find out he's like a Holocaust survivor. You're like, God,
Yeah.
this movie's deep.
Yeah.
No, the movie, it's one of my most favorite like 80s movies ever.
Totally. It's really fun. One of those movies that should have been in my like childhood pantheon with like The Explorers and Batteries Not Included. It's probably a little bit more mature than that just because you've got all of these horror characters, right?
Yeah.
And there are some genuinely kind of scary sections.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
when
I think the Dracula in it is amazing.
Dude, at the end,
'Cause
when
he's scary.
I mean,
Yeah, I
slight
agree.
spoilers for Monster Squad, but at the end, when Dracula's got the little girl and he's got her and he's holding her up, you're like, holy shit, this is screwed up.
And he says, "Give me the stone, you
Yes.
bitch."
Yes.
You're like, holy.
Oh man, you just called an 8-year-old girl a bitch. Like,
It's a
you
movie
can't do that.
They would never make now
No, hell no.
because one,
Part
the
of it
kids
is
are constantly in danger.
kids are also constantly calling each other faggots.
Yeah.
Like constantly using that word. And I was like, like the first 10 minutes I was like, you can't do this. This is not okay.
That and like the horror in it's like real.
pretty good, yeah.
It's I think Stan Winston did the Gill Man, and I think the Gill Man is amazing in it.
Yeah, I mean, their interpretations of those characters are all really good.
Well, yeah, because they take the Universal classic, because even the Wolfman is a tragic character. He doesn't
Yes.
want to be the Wolfman.
Exactly.
And then when he gets killed, he says, "Thank you."
The Wolfman, the Frankenstein, and his relationship with the little girl
Mm-hmm.
is right on track. And then I think that the death of the mummy is
Oh, yeah.
fantastic. Like when that moment happens, I was like, "This is so cool."
Yeah.
Just the idea that the rags are literally holding the mummy together, and so the whole idea of unwinding a mummy is as old as Scooby Doo. But when they do it and watching him like disintegrate as this thing
Yeah,
pulls
it's
away,
by the
you're like,
bad boy Rudy.
so cool, man.
When hordes getting picked on. Now eat your candy bar. Oh, come on, Rudy, don't make me eat it. Eat it.
That's so good.
When I met the kid who plays Sean at Alamo Draft House,
Yeah.
Andre Goyer, he was wearing Stephen King rules shirt, and I should have hit him up on Twitter because he said he'd come on the show.
man,
So-
he does a fantastic job. I mean, the whole movie
cast
is
is
really
great.
great. Yeah, I mean, genuinely, after Lethal Weapon, this is probably my favorite non-Shane Black directed movie.
Oh yeah, it's great. Fred Decker directed it.
Which I think part of it is that because he also co-wrote it.
Yeah,
Like,
well, him and Fred Decker are doing the new Predator movie.
right.
And if you want to see another great Fred Decker movie, it's not Shane Black, but it's called Night of the Creeps, and it's about a zombie
Prom night.
kind of thing, and it has like one of the greatest lines. Tom Atkins is in it, and he says, "I got good news and bad news.
Good news
Your
is-
dates are here. The bad news, they're dead. They're just a bunch of zombies." It's
That's
it's
awesome.
great. It's a great
man.
movie too.
Good old
Yeah.
Tom Atkins scaring the shit out of kids for years to come.
Yep.
It was genuinely really fun to watch.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I knew
yeah.
you would, but
Yeah.
it's literally one of my most favorite films of all time.
Yeah.
It was one I rented at. There's this video store by my house when I lived with my mom after my mom and dad got divorced and we were poor, but she would always let me rent a movie every week because back then they're like 49 cents or whatever they were, and I'd always get the Monster Squad. I mean, I can still recite that movie. I mean, I just did it's nothing.
Yep.
But I think it's generally a fun film.
Absolutely.
I think like even Dracula's women in it are pretty scary. And
that was a cool one.
and I love the kick the Wolfman in the nards. Wolfman don't got nards.
It is like watching, as part of this thing I've been doing. This was interesting because obviously it's his earliest film, and it's also, but it also feels like a Shane Black film
yeah.
still. Like the dialogue is still poppy and fresh and interesting. There's still a lot of that like he understands how to keep a script moving really well, and he uses a lot of tricks to do it. But some of those same tricks are here, right? Like you're still getting together this group of people and giving them this destination, and it works really well.
Yeah, no,
like, that's a fun movie.
I love that film.
Yeah.
I always have.
And there's a lot of little like the Virgin thing, right? Like you've got this character that like becomes this linchpin of, hey, we need to use this Virgin to save everybody's lives. But the first thing we hear about the Virgin is, dude, all your sister does is hang out and let dudes touch her tits.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good.
Well, too, and it's also this is how clever the script is. I mean, anytime you watch a horror film and the Wolfman has to die by a silver bullet, you're like, why don't you just blow him up? So in Monster Squad, they blow him up and he reassembles.
Right. I mean, it's the same sort of like setup and execution of, early on there's the joke of, oh, well, how else, because I think they ask him, in order to get him into the group, they ask him, like, what are the 2 ways to kill a wolfman? And he's like, silver bullet and, it's this running joke of, like, nobody can think of what the other thing is.
And I think they even mentioned blowing him up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They
And
make a
that's-
couple of jokes. They almost joke as if it's really easy after that, and then you're like, no, like it really. There's only one way.
Yeah.
You know.
It's great. Yeah, I love that movie.
And that the actor who plays the Wolfman is really
Yeah,
good.
he's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He's a character actor. I forget his name.
Yeah,
It's
isn't he?
escaping
He's the uncle in Napoleon Dynamite.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cousin Rico.
Yes.
Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Anyway, so that is what I watched this week.
I didn't watch too much. I watched the first season of Lost, which is
It's
amazing.
a good show. Yeah.
The pilot is still one of the greatest episodes in TV history. I still love Jack. I think he's one of the coolest characters ever. It's fascinating Locke's evolution throughout the show when you go back to the beginning and seeing how he started. Because I still think that's one of the coolest reveals in the show is that Locke was paralyzed before the flight. I think it's fascinating. So yeah, it's still a great show. It looks amazing on Blu-ray. And then last week I started my next binge watching is I'm watching the Disney animated films from beginning all the way to 55, which is Zootopia. And so this week I watched Pinocchio, and to me, I mean, spoilers for when I make my list, I think Pinocchio is the greatest animated film ever made. In so much that Ollie Johnson, I'm pretty sure, is the one who animated Pinocchio. And
I want to look that up.
yeah,
Keep going.
it might be. I might be wrong. Maybe he did Figaro. I can't remember. But my point being is Pinocchio is the greatest animated character I've ever seen. The way they're able to convey him discovering what it is to be a boy or be a person, and the innocence in the performance of the animation is stunning. It really is. And my point is always driven home when Pinocchio wakes up the next morning and Geppetto sends him off to school, and he's really excited because all the kids are running to school. The way he's animated there is stunning. It is absolutely stunning. The way that the character acts, he's like hopping up and down and going back and forth, and he says, "Father, what are those?" And he says, "Oh, those are your classmates. What are those?" And it's just a really cute film. And I'm reading a book right now called Pinocchio, The Making of a Disney Epic, which is a beautiful book. If you ever have an opportunity to get it, it's from the Disney archives. You can get it on Amazon. It's normally like $60. I think it's $30 right now.
Wow.
And it's a huge hardcover book. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was Frank and Ollie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. And like I said, his character is so wonderfully animated. His innocence, his transformation throughout the whole film. And, the detractors who don't like Pinocchio are stupid, but if there are some, it's because they don't like that Pinocchio is really episodic, where it's basically I go from one place to the next, but along the way he's learning lessons.
Yeah.
He's learning.
There's an overarching
exactly.
lesson.
It's what is it to mean to be a real person? What does that mean to you? It's not I just want to be a real boy. He has to earn that right, and you don't earn that right by being dishonest, not listening to your father. Dickie Jones plays Pinocchio, and I think he was 6 or 7 at the time. I don't remember. 6, and it's amazing. It's an absolutely amazing performance. You get Jiminy Cricket and
Played by Cliff
Edwards, the amazing Cliff Edwards.
Yeah.
And my favorite interaction with him and Pinocchio is when Honest John shows up and he's telling
love
him,
Honest John.
oh yeah, hi diddly dee an actor's life for me. And when Jiminy catches up to him and he's hiding in the flower and he says, Pinocchio, you got to go to school. You got to say thanks, but I got to go to school. And Pinocchio's interaction with him is like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And then Honest John says, oh, there you are, to the theater. And so they go away, and Pinocchio completely says, bye, Jiminy. And I just think it's like such a great scene. And, the coachman in it is, I don't know who animated the coachman, but he's a scary character. He doesn't even have a name. He's the coachman because he's turning boys into donkeys and selling them into slavery.
I was going to say, that section is why I never liked that movie as a kid.
Scared the fuck out of me.
Yes, like the donkey section is terrifying.
Yeah, and that's what happens
Still
when you smoke and
terrifying.
drink.
Yeah, in my experience, yeah. Turns me into a donkey.
Yeah. Yeah.
An absolute jackass.
I'm looking at my hands right now, trying to make sure they're not hooves.
And it's just fun because you see the influence of Lampley on Pinocchio in that part, and he's like, this is how clever the script is too. There's literally a room on Pleasure Island where you just go and bust up a house.
Yeah.
Why are we going to bust it up, Lampley? Because it's fun. It's silly stuff like that.
Where else have I seen that? Where else have I seen? Oh, that's right. In Hook.
Yeah, way better in Pinocchio. So you're saying Hook stole from Pinocchio because it couldn't come up with its own ideas?
Oh, son of a bitch.
But I told this story before we came on, and my little guy was watching it with me. And so, spoilers for a 76-year-old movie, but so at the end, Pinocchio's father, Geppetto, is looking for him, and he finds out that he was swallowed by Monstro the Well.
What?
Yeah. And so, by the way, amazing animation underwater. If you watch the making of it, they took a plane of glass and moved it across while they're filming it, and that gave it the ripple effect. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Pinocchio gets there, and he saves Geppetto and Figaro and from Monstro the Well. And at the end, my little guy's watching it, and Pinocchio is laying face down in the water, and he's died. And my little boy looked at me and said, "Oh, no, Daddy, oh, no." So that movie connected with my little boy that he realized that Pinocchio, he obviously doesn't know that he's dead, but he knows he's hurt or something's wrong with Pinocchio.
Yeah, right.
And it was just, I'm like, wow, that's how moving this film is.
Yeah.
And
not even 2 years old.
Not even 2 years old, but that's just, I mean, the overlying thing of this film is to become a real boy or a real person is self-sacrifice and putting others in front of yourself and telling the truth. I think it's a beautiful film. I think it's wonderful. I think it's the best work that Disney Studios did in their early years. I think it's the most wonderfully animated film ever. Even if you compare it to like Sleeping Beauty, which is a wonderfully animated film, but the character of Pinocchio is so well acted and wonderfully drawn and wonderfully performed that it'll never ever be surpassed in my mind. And that's, I mean, I know I'm biased because I love that movie, but everybody should rewatch it. I don't think you can get the Blu-ray anymore because it's in the vault, but I'm hoping
it's coming back.
That it's going to come back because they just did Snow White, the Walt Disney Collection version of it, and I will buy a second edition of Pinocchio. So I'm hoping they're going in order, and I hope Pinocchio's the next one.
You think they'll do a live action one with Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
Well, I heard they're making a Geppetto with Robert Downey Jr. that he really wants to do.
Oh, that's right. They are doing that.
But yeah, they made one.
Well, yeah. That part I was joking about. But I mean, in this whole, Cinderella,
maybe.
Beauty and the Beast.
I don't know if you can capture I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's best to leave that one alone.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'd see it if they could tell the right story. And the only other thing I watched Fantasia, which I haven't seen in a long time. And watching it again.
What's the plot of Fantasia?
There is none. It's
something about a hat and some.
There is some moments in Fantasia where it's stunning, and then other times you're like, "Wow, this is really pretentious." Like the part
you
where
sound like Buster Crowley.
The part where they're animating like sound waves and stuff. Like this is what the violin sounds like, and it's all goes on for 10 minutes. Like, oh my god. But Sorcerer's Apprentice
is really good.
Is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I can't remember. Anytime they try to do abstract art, it's just boring. But when they actually switch it to like a silly symphonies kind of thing, I think it works wonders. Like the little unicorns and the centaurs and stuff, I think looks really great. The dinosaur stuff is okay.
The multiplane on Ave Maria is excellent.
Yes. So there's moments in this film where it's absolutely stunning. Everything about it works.
And I can imagine on an HD TV.
Incredible. The Sorcerer's Apprentice is actually I haven't seen it in a long time. I bought the Blu-ray, and I didn't watch it. The reason I bought the Blu-ray is because it went back in the vault, and I was like, oh man, I got to go down and get this before it sells out, and I'll have to spend $85 on it.
Right.
And the Blu-ray came with Fantasia 2000 as well, but
a bonus.
So just watching it, I haven't seen it in years. It's all right. It's not their best work, but it's also they do have some of the best animation work in it.
Is that the third movie they released?
Yeah.
Wow.
It came out the same year as Pinocchio.
Wow.
Almost bankrupt the studio because they spent so much money developing it.
On Fantasia.
On Fantasia.
Wow.
Because Tarkovsky was like, give me my money.
Yeah. What happened, see, this is how you never know what's going to happen. So the next one's Dumbo. And Dumbo is an amazing piece of cinema, and I can't wait I haven't seen it a year,
Right.
but I love Dumbo, and I think it's one of his best stories, and it's 65 minutes long.
Yeah.
And then after Dumbo, they start doing their
Package features.
package features, which I looked. Song of the South isn't included in it. It must be because there's not enough animation. I think there's only 20 minutes of animation in Song of the South. So yeah, I went through and I looked, and I think after Dumbo it goes Fun and Fancy Free, then Melody Time, then
What
Make
about
My
Bambi?
Music. Bambi I think's later, 46 I think.
I thought Bambi was 42.
Maybe you have
Yeah.
to look it up. I can't remember.
Have you figured out how you're going to get to see Song of the South yet?
It's not part of the 55,
Oh, okay.
so I won't have to worry about it.
Oh, okay.
I will have to get DVD copies of The Black Cauldron, Make Mine Music, and Melody Time, though. Yeah. But
42, yeah.
42.
Yeah.
So does it go Dumbo, then Bambi?
Yeah, Dumbo then Bambi.
All right, that's good. Bambi's a great movie.
Yeah, Bambi.
So yeah,
Love is
so
a song that
I'm having fun. We'll see when I get to the 80s if I'm still having fun.
I was going to say, when you get to Black
Don't
Cauldron.
worry, you get the Renaissance after that.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
when you get to that section, you'll be like, oh man, I just got to get through these movies so I can
have to
start
get through
watching
Oliver and Company, and I'll be
Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin and
Oh, Little Mermaid's 89.
yeah, Little Mermaid, all that stuff.
Yeah, we'll see. It's interesting, and the craftsmanship from Snow White to Pinocchio to Fantasia is pretty breathtaking.
Yeah.
Because there's some great moments in Snow White. I always thought Snow White was too plain. That's why I think like the witch in it's super hot. But but there is, I can't even find a fault in Pinocchio. Some of the shots they do, you realize it's 76 years old, and they have when they're doing High Diddly D and they're going through the town and following them from above. You're like, holy shit!
All the multiplane
Yeah,
that they were working with
it's
that
stunning.
massive camera that Up iWorks helped design.
Yep.
Yep.
iWorks.
Yep.
Yep, that's what I watched this week.
Cool.
Cool. So this week we saw 3 different movies. Since Zach's our guest, we'll always start with Zach. Zach, should people go see Popstar? Never Never Stopping.
Never. My sense is tingling. Yes, people should go see Popstar. I thought that the movie was perfectly executed for the concept that it was trying to present. And I have a more detailed review that I'll read for it because I'll be quick on this one because I want to get into Warcraft as well and hear what James has to say. Because Popstar's kind of you have to watch it to really get into it.
Comedies are always hard.
Yeah. So here's the trailer for Popstar: Never Stopping.
Ever since I was born, I was dope.
It's Connor. I've got it all, and I'm getting more. Adam Levine's hologram. So expensive.
Connor currently has 32 people on his personal payroll.
Sure, Connor surrounds himself with people who are agreeable.
I'm a superstar.
Connor, did you take a shit in the Anne Frank house?
Do not go in there. Woo! Ace Ventura. This is my best friend, Maximus. He's like the closest thing I've ever had to like a little brother. If I had like a mute brother that was hella scaly.
Connor's second album drops today.
Out of 4 possible stars, Rolling Stone has given it the shit emoji. So, mixed. Let's call it mixed reviews.
Mona Lisa, the original basic bitch.
The record label's concerned about ticket sales.
I heard he's getting into stage gimmicks now.
Dude, what is this?
That's your new head.
Check this out.
Mona Lisa, you're an overrated piece of shit.
I feel that real showmanship has been lost in modern pop music. I'm trying a brand new magic trick.
Top of the world.
Connor, don't worry about it. You were up there for like 10 seconds.
It's a third of the way to Mars.
Connor, we've talked about this. 30 Seconds to Mars is the name of a band. It's not a fact.
Ash and I have been hanging out for about 6 months now. She's the total package.
Ashley Wednesday.
Are those real wolves?
Yeah.
Is that a seal? And you invited the press. What's going on?
Will you marry me?
Yes.
Wolves of us! Are you okay?
I've been in this situation before. I think I got these scars. From wolves? Now let's get out of here.
We killed Seal! He's dead! He's dead! Seal is dead!
So, I gave it 4 out of 4 turtles, and turtles play an important part in the story. The essential story of the film is about Connor For Real, who is a pop star who was part of a boy band named the Style Boys, but they broke up over differences, and one of the members now lives in Big Timber, Colorado, farming, but you don't know what he farms until the very end. Spoiler alert, it's weed. and it's in a big reveal. But he spends his time making wood furniture and wood sculptures. He's like, this is the award that I was supposed to win for writing all the catchphrases for Connor For Real's catchphrase song. It's directed by Jorma Taccone and Akiva Schaffer. This is one of those moments.
2/3 of The Lonely Island.
Yep. Andy Samberg is the star, and they all three co-wrote together. This is my review. This is one of those moments where a movie captures a generation and, look, I'm acting like Connor For Real in my review. But it's true. The film's a snapshot of current celebrity obsession is spot on thanks to the incredible or incredibad influence that Taccone, Schaffer, and Samberg brought into the project. It's not unsafe to say this is the millennials' Spinal Tap. And that's high praise for me. If you're able to entertain me as much as a Spinal Tap can, then you're
you know what
you're good in my book.
I really want to see it. One of the jokes I read about that made me laugh just reading it is Andy Samberg has a guy who's shorter than him, so he can always look like he's taller than he really is.
his perception security.
Yeah.
Is it? I feel like what I expect from the reason why when I first heard about this movie I was like, I don't know that I care. What I expect from a Lonely Island kind of movie is very irreverent and more like, I don't know.
There's no
dude like potty humor, right? If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Whereas what you just said Christopher Guest, and when I saw the first trailer, I was like, oh, this sort of seems like a Christopher Guest movie. Would you actually say that it is on par, or like is it that same genre of satire? Because I think
it's a millennial Spinal Tap.
Okay, cool.
Spider Tap.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Spider-Man.
Right.
Yes.
Because I just want to see Civil War again, guys.
Which I think is really cool, because the reason I'm asking that pointed question is because I think that speaks to a different audience. Does that make sense? Right? Like the people who go see 21 Jump Street aren't necessarily Christopher Guest fans.
It's a millennial Spinal Tap. I'm going to keep saying that because
because you think that's all you need to say.
Because it's like I feel about Mel Brooks and Seth MacFarlane. No, it's not the same as Mel Brooks, but it's pretty damn close.
It's like spiritually, it is a Christopher Guest movie. Okay,
but
that's awesome.
On the surface, it is a Lonely Island movie, so therefore it is steeped in SNL culture, which means that there are potty jokes.
Sure. Oh, I mean, dude, there
are tons of
There's
potty
a joke in
jokes.
Spinal Tap where the dude like wraps a cucumber and puts it in his pants, and everybody thinks it's a dick.
Yep.
Like, I'm not saying you can't do that.
No, yeah.
I just think for me, Christopher Guest operates on a different level than SNL does. But I'm a big Christopher Guest fan.
One of the best performances in the film by far is Tim Meadows, who always seems to give one of the best performances in every movie he's in, and he plays their manager. And at one point, he's representing another rapper, and he just flat out yells at him, "I will eat your fucking face!" And I could not stop laughing. Right. It's wonderful. So I would definitely check out Popstar and Never Stop, Never Stopping.
Awesome.
Easily one of the. This has been a good year for movies for me so far.
Yeah.
And this is definitely within the top 10 of the films that I would recommend this year.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
James, you went and saw Warcraft. Are you going to recommend people to see Warcraft?
I don't know. I don't think so. So this movie's really hard for me to talk about, and the reason is that I really enjoyed myself for basically the entirety of this film, which is bizarre because half of the movie is, if I'm completely honest, on par with Dungeons and Dragons or In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege Tale.
You're not selling me on this film, James.
Right. No, I know. Look, I already said no, I'm not recommending it. Half of this movie is beautiful, well written, fascinating, a cool fantasy story that is unique. Warcraft is basically like a heavy metal version of the Lord of the Rings, right? Like it is this very heavy metal influenced fantasy world. And that part is really cool. Unfortunately, everything that's in CG is amazing. And everything that's shot practically kind of cumbersome and doesn't look very good, and the production values fall flat. So it's hard for me to really recommend unless you're a big Warcraft fan, in which case you already saw this movie. Like, unless you're somebody who comes to it and is like, oh, I have all this knowledge and I know all this lore already, and so I'm going to come into this movie, because it's got way too much junk in it. If this were just a movie where orcs and humans fought, I'd be like, hell yes, everyone should see this movie. But it's got too much stuff in it. So, no, I can't recommend it. The movie's already made enough money overseas that they're going to make a sequel, which I only care about because I want Blizzard to make enough money in movies that they'll make a StarCraft movie, because that's the end game here for me. The end game is throw money at Blizzard until Blizzard makes a StarCraft movie. That's all I care about. So anyway, I guess so. So here's a trailer for Warcraft.
That's really fucking long.
Yeah.
We have had peace in these lands for many years now. But one of our villages burned tonight.
War is coming.
An invasion.
If we do not unite to fight this enemy, our world will perish.
Saving the world is not a one-man job.
We fight together or we die together.
You'll have me to protect you.
I need no one to protect me.
Well then. They're stronger. Be smarter.
This war will destroy us all. But together, we might stand a chance.
Whatever you plan to do it now!
You have to understand, I don't know how to talk about this movie. Like, it's why I was frustrated, because I was like, I need somebody who hasn't spent the last 20 years knowing about Warcraft and reading about Warcraft. Like, I know I can talk about Ner'zhul and Sargeras and characters who aren't in this movie, but are in the peripheral of this movie. So watching this movie, for me, I was like, oh, this is really awesome. Like, Gul'dan is here, and there's all these characters that I really care about, but they're not necessarily handled in the best way. Well, Gul'dan is, but anyway, Warcraft tells the story of... So in this universe, orcs, which we all know sort of what an orc is, right? They're big green monster dudes. Orcs actually come from another planet. That planet is dying. They're being led by a guy named Gul'dan, who is this awesome, like, warlock dude who's super evil. And he's possessed by this evil magic called the Fel. And if I've lost you, that's because you're most people, and this movie will lose most people in the first 10 minutes. Because there's a lot of exposition here. So Gul'dan uses his evil magic by sucking the souls out of a bunch of people and using that to open a portal to...
Like Shang Tsung?
I don't know who that is.
He's the Mortal Kombat boss who sucks the souls out of warriors.
Yes, so Gul'dan is like an orc version of Shang Tsung who sucks the lives out of a bunch of people, and I'm not going to explain who those people are, but whatever, because this movie doesn't need to do that. So he opens this portal to what you could say is like Earth, but it's a fantasy world, right? And there's the humans there, and there's humans and elves and dwarves, and they've been living in peace for a long time.
Oh, it's Lord of the Rings.
Right, yes, but heavy metal.
Okay.
And so the orcs show up.
They play guitars?
And so that's it. So
Jam!
the orcs planet is dying, and...
Like Krypton?
Yes, exactly, yes. The orcs planet is dying, so they come to this other planet, but they're like, hey, we didn't have enough souls to bring through all of our people.
Oh, like Scientology.
Right, exactly. so the Great Lord Xenu, Gul'dan, is like, hey guys, we're going to bring through a war party. This war party is going to go just kidnap as many of these humans as we can, and then I'm going to suck their souls out, and I'm going to use their souls to open up this portal permanently so the whole horde can come through, right? So those are the stakes. And the humans and the elves and the dwarves are like, we got to fight these dudes, but we don't know what's going on. Ben Foster's there. Ben Foster plays...
Ben Foster.
Yeah. So Ben Foster plays this character that I've loved my entire life almost, named Medivh, who is this really powerful wizard who hangs out in this really cool tower. And when we meet him, he's making a golem in his free time because he can. And anyway, so this movie's got, I've told you, maybe a third of the essential plot of this film, right? What I've told you is the only thing they should have told you. They should have told you there's this bad guy named Gul'dan who's really awesome. The orcs come through a portal. Orcs and humans have to fight, right? But unfortunately, they tell you all of these other stories. There's this woman named Garona who is like half orc and half something else, and there's a lot to that. And I haven't told you anything about the king or any of the humans, honestly, because all of the human storylines are not terribly well written, and their armor looks like it came out of a Cracker Jack box, which is really surprising because all of the orcs who are completely CG look amazing. And the performances of the orcs look amazing. I mean, there are entire CG characters at the beginning of this movie who have like there's this long scene between our main orc character, who's a guy named Dalaran, who not Dalaran is a city, Duratan. So Duratan and his wife, who's pregnant, have like this long like husband-wife conversation, and these are completely CG characters. But you're laughing with them and you're really enjoying your time. And at this point in the movie, because the first 10 or 15 minutes is all orcs, at this point in the movie, I was in it. I was like, this is really great. Like, I'm really enjoying myself. But as soon as you get to the human side of the story, it's like, it's super convoluted, and there's all this exposition about, Medivh is the Guardian, and then the Kirin Tor, and like all this stuff that just feels like the people who wrote it, who live and breathe this story, and it is actually a really awesome story. They didn't do what Lord of the Rings does, which is take a step back and go, look, the characters are what's essential, and in this first movie, we just need to convince you that the universe is cool, right? All you really needed in this movie was there's some orcs and there's some humans and they're gonna fight, right? But they just try to show you everything, and they try to give you these little glimpses of all these different stories. And it just gets boring at times. So I saw it with Dan. Dan fell asleep for like 5 minutes. Now, he enjoyed most of it, but has some of the same complaints that I do. But also has been a part of, like, he's like me where he knows the Warcraft lore pretty well. So it's really a struggle because if you like the story already, if you already know Warcraft, you're going to watch this movie and go like, this is really cool. Except for some of the stuff kind of looks cheap. I mean, some of the action scenes are really, really boring. Like, really lame. Like, the magic all seems very disjointed, right? But only on the human side. The action scenes with the orcs, like, you got these big dudes with these giant hammers running around just crushing fools, and it's awesome, right? Like, them running through the woods and fighting, and when they do fight with some of the human like knights and stuff like that, it looks really cool. The opening shot of this movie is beautiful, and the opening shot of this movie is honestly exactly what I wanted. Like the beginning shot is just this knight who looks very realistic, and he's standing in this field, and it's this very like sort of like tan. Yeah, everything is very tan looking. It's a really pretty shot. and you never see the orc. The orc is, you're like, it's a first person view, and you're just moving around, and you feel like the tension of this fight about to happen. And it's just like this little teaser as they're telling you about the universe. And that's a really beautiful section. Like, Duncan Jones directs some of this fantastically. And there's even like these little snippets of scenes where you'll get these characters to just sort of play off each other a little bit. Like there's one scene where these two guys are sitting there, and it starts with one of them like throwing a rock at the other, right? And it's just playful in that way where like it gets you to like these characters in a really great way. But then when the story stuff happens, and very specifically when the human side of the story happens, it's boring and the dialogue is stilted, and it's really frustrating because it does feel like somebody took this brilliant, big budget action movie and shoved it into an Uwe Boll film, and they contrast in the most terrible ways. It's awful. It's why I struggle to say for sure that it's a bad movie, because the orc stuff is so cool. There's a fight at the end between two orcs that honestly, like, I recommend you see the movie just because that fight scene is so neat. But at the same time, I can't trust myself that I'm not bringing something to it because I know those characters.
Yeah.
And I think what's happening is cool, right? I think that Dortan fighting with Gul'dan, who Gul'dan is a character I've known for 20 years of my life. I think that's amazing. Like, I'm getting to see this thing. And I think the action scene is really cool, but I can't trust myself, you know? What I know for sure is that everything having to do with the humans, especially the action scenes, is straight bad. And it's really, like, that part is just frustrating. And I've always liked Duncan Jones. I like Source Code. I ragged on Moon earlier because I don't think Moon is that great. But I don't think it's his fault. I think it is a script that has just too much of the lore in it, you know? I don't need Garona, who's the woman I meant, the half-orc lady. I don't need her story. Honestly, I don't even need the king. Anduin Lothar, who is really the main character, he's played by the guy who's in Vikings, does a great job, has a cool story in it, not always handled that very well, but still pretty cool. Like, he's got a son who's a soldier, and of course that kid ends up getting killed. But the scene in which he gets killed, like, dude, the scene at the end of Episode 1 with the laser walls when Qui-Gon dies, like, that scene is better and makes more sense than the one in this movie, which says a lot. I don't know. It's a frustrating, weird movie that I enjoyed a lot and will buy the Blu-ray of. And I want them to make a sequel. I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, I rambled a lot. I don't think I helped anyone. Do you even understand what I said?
What the fuck you just said?
Right?
But you're special, man.
Give me the map, Scott.
Give me the map, Scott. That's sort of my point. Was like, I need someone who isn't me to watch this movie and tell me that it's bad.
I'll see it for you.
I need you to watch it and go like, oh yeah, James, I didn't know what the fuck was going on the whole time, and I'll be like, I know, right? But it was cool sometimes, right? And you'll be like, yeah, I don't know why it was cool, but I think it was cool.
I want to see it just because Duncan Jones directed it. I really have no other vested interest.
Yeah, I mean,
and after hearing that review, I have even less vested interest.
Yeah, it's because Duncan Jones is a fan. Honestly, the movie would have done better if Sam Raimi had stayed on it. Because Sam Raimi does's know shit all about Warcraft, and he would have looked at the script and gone, you guys, you can't fucking make this movie, right? Like, because he can take, I mean, you look at, like, Oz the Great and Powerful, he can clearly take a weird, potentially convoluted script and go, no, this is the path through, this is the character we're going to follow. There are going to be little bunny trails along the way, but this is where we're going to end up, and emotionally it's going to pay off because of X.
It's funny you say that, because that's the reason why Sam Raimi exited the movie.
Right.
And why Duncan Jones said he didn't get it is all the stuff you just said.
Yeah, I think the movie would have been better with him. I think that Duncan Jones, because he is a fan, one of two things is true here. Either Duncan Jones is a fan, and so he doesn't see through how convoluted and painful this movie is for people who don't know the lore, or Chris Metzen and the Blizzard team are too in love with themselves and honestly have too much money and too much confidence, and so they required certain things to happen in the movie. Because it strays from the original story some, but it has way too much detail. I mean, this is like the closest I can get to explaining this is like if you made the first Lord of the Rings and you put Tom Bombadil in that movie, right? Like, why am I here? Like, no. All I need this movie to be is there is a ring. These Nazgul things are cool. Let's have a good fight scene at the end with some orcs. That's all that movie is, right? Like, there's some long exposition in there, but we're going to get enough payoff that it's going to be okay. This movie has way too much Tom Bombadil, right? Way too many of those scenes.
Okay.
Like if you had a long sequence where they explain who the bartender in with the prancing pony is, I'd be like, yep, that's what this movie is. It's just too dense. So I don't know. I'm really, really looking forward to the sequel, though. It's going to be cool. Gul'dan's going to come back. Sojaris and Ner'zhul. Ner'zhul's going to be in the movie.
We don't know what you're talking about.
I know. No. Don't worry. Don't worry. The first hour and a half of the sequel will explain it to you. Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
I've never seen The Conjuring, but you went and saw The Conjuring 2.
See The Conjuring.
Should people go see The Conjuring 2?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing: is James Wan is probably the greatest horror director ever, and I don't say that lightly, because people might say something like Carpenter, but he's not really a horror film director,
right?
He's more of a genre director.
Yeah, he just happens to have made some horror films.
Yeah. Sam Raimi, I wouldn't say is a horror director either.
Right.
Wes Craven.
Wes Craven's a horror.
Yeah,
yeah. When I think of Wes Craven, I think of horror movies.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is James Wan knows. So this movie, I couldn't believe it, is 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it seems like it's an hour.
How do you entertain people with a horror movie for 2
you know
hours
what,
and
James,
20 minutes long?
Play the trailer, and I'll talk about The Conjuring 2.
Okay.
This is my home. Get out now.
No, this is not your house. Now, what's your name?
My name is Bill Wilkins, and I'm 72 years old.
What do you make of that voice? Sounds confused. Is he senile?
The voice on this tape is coming from an 11-year-old girl.
They're calling it England's Amityville. There is a family that desperately needs our help.
After everything we've seen, there isn't much that rattles either of us anymore. But this one still haunts me. Does it feel like the voice is coming from inside you?
More like it's coming from behind me. Like I'm being used.
Janet, are you all right?
Stop calling me Janet.
She's such a good girl. What's there wrong with her?
An oppressing spirit will try to force you to commit the ultimate sin.
And what's that?
Murder, suicide, or both.
You believe us, don't you?
Sensing a presence?
I'm not sensing anything. All I can sense is their own fear.
Honey, you're bleeding. What is happening?
I had a premonition of your death.
Who's that?
The family's just a pawn. Something inhuman wants to kill you. If we keep doing this, you're going to die.
So here's the thing, James. I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow your mind.
Okay, all right.
There is character beats in this movie where I was like, is this a fucking horror film? Because they let the characters be characters in it. I honestly couldn't believe it. So the overarching story is it's the real life quotes of the Warrens, and I mean there's obviously creative liberties here, but Ed and Lorraine Warren are real people who they're demonologists, and they investigate hauntings or possessions for the church. They're actually agents of the church.
I left out the fact that there are demons in the Warcraft movie too. I skipped over that part of the movie. Yeah.
So what happens is the opening of this film is it's actually the Amityville Horror, or the Amityville Murders. I guess it's not the Amityville Horror film.
Really?
So
that's how they got famous. That's how the Warrens got famous. Is if you remember anything from the Amityville case,
they explored the house first, right?
Yeah. So what happens is the guy who murdered his family in there told police that a demon told him to kill his family.
Okay.
So they hired the Warrens to go in there and see if a demon killed the family. And so what makes James Wan so great is his camera is always moving. But it's moving that it's like on it's not handheld. Panaglide, thank you. So it's like Panaglide constantly.
Huh.
So the camera's always moving. And he has...
Sorry, I'm confused for just a second.
Okay.
Is this the story of the first Conjuring or the second Conjuring?
It's like you're just taking the case files of them. So...
Well, but you're explaining who the Warrens are. So both movies, both of the Conjurings are about the Warrens.
Yes.
Okay.
So they star Vera Farmiga and
I'm in.
Patrick Wilson.
Okay, great.
So it's a really effective opening. So they're talking about the Amityville case, and they hired the Warrens to see if there really was a demon inside the house. And so they do like this film opens with a seance. And again, James Wan is so brilliant. So he takes the camera and it's moving across the table, and it comes up to Vera Farmiga, who's playing Lorraine, and it stops on her. She opens her eyes and she's looking around, and the camera moves around again. And the next time you see her, she's like outside the room, and you see her in the room. So the camera in one motion follows her around, and she's in a different spot. And so then she goes upstairs and she's reliving these murders. And he does not...
So she's like having a vision into the past where
Exactly.
she's watching.
Exactly.
Like in a Hannibal-esque way.
Exactly,
Yes.
yeah. So she's going upstairs, and she's basically inhabiting the son who murdered his mom and dad and his two brothers and sister. And so she goes up there, and you don't know this at the beginning. You're just watching her, and she's like looking in the room, and the father has a gunshot wound to his back, and the mom is just sitting there and does this weird, really quick cut, and she turns like, "What are you doing?" And she cocks this fake gun and blows the mom away, but in this really like supernatural kind of cut. And then she walks across the room.
This is still Vera Farmiga.
Yeah, and she walks across the house into the bedroom of the two little boys, and she cocks the gun again. She doesn't have it, but then you see her pull the trigger, and it shoots the one little kid. Then she shoots the other one, and then she walks across the mirror, and in the mirror is the reflection of the guy murdering him.
Yeah.
And she walks into another room, and she pulls the trigger and shoots the little girl in the head. And she walks around, and she's like trying to figure it out, and she sees this like nun like start walking down the stairs. Oh no, I'm sorry, a little boy, one of the murdered kids. So she starts walking down the stairs, and when she gets to the basement, this is how James Wan is so brilliant. So he puts Vera Farmiga in the foreground, but in like the right hand corner of the screen.
Okay.
So if you've seen enough horror films like I have, you're waiting for something behind her.
Uh-huh.
You know, you're waiting for those beats, but he doesn't do it. He lets it breathe. He lets it sit there. He lets it sit there, and then she just moves. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
She moves to a mirror. Like, oh, she's going to pull down the mirror and something. She pulls down the mirror. Nothing. So then she looks around. She looks back at the mirror. Then you see like this little shadow move in the mirror. So she stops, and the camera again panaglides. Nothing there. Comes back. Nothing there. Comes back. Nothing there. Comes back. Nothing's there. And then she hears something. She turns to her right, and it's like her husband, and his neck breaks. And then she turns, and then the demon's there, and she like snaps out of her seance. And so she...
I'm afraid to hear anything else. I really want to see this movie now.
Exactly. So they leave that place, and then they spend about the next 30 minutes with this family in England, where this little girl named Janet is, getting in trouble at school for smoking, and their dad just left. It's really important that you know the dad left.
Damn it, Janet.
So the dad leaves. You never see him leave. It's just implied. You know, they don't spend time on it.
Sure.
But it takes another 30, 40 minutes before the Warrens show up again. And they let this family. And it's just a bunch of kids, you know. The mom's arguing because she doesn't have any money and she has to work. The dad left them. And she slowly starts being terrorized by a spirit, maybe. They don't know. And then you cut back to the Warrens, and Lorraine is being tormented by this demon. And this is James Wan is so brilliant. So the scene before, you see Ed Warren painting that nun demon, and so she doesn't want to tell him that she had this vision that them have the same demon because she's seeing a vision of his death. So he makes this painting, and you don't hear anything of it. And then they cut back to the family in England, and they're just getting like these, the bed shook, you know, just little things. Cuts back to the Warrens, and Lorraine Warren's reading her Bible, and her little daughter is making bracelets, and you see this like thing pass in the background. And her daughter gets up because Lorraine is just reading her Bible, and she goes out in the hallway and it's quiet, and then you hear her say, "Mom, Mom," and she gets up and she goes out, she's like, "Who is that?" And it's that fucking nun demon. And so it goes into like,
it's that fucking nun demon, honey.
Goes into I'm really explaining this movie. I just do
Yeah,
it,
I know you are.
I just do it so because this is a horror film that's building characters,
right?
So she goes into the office, and James Wan is so brilliant. So
and the fucking nun demon is
so
there.
she goes in there, and you see in black just the white face of this demon. And in my theater, people are like, because you know something's going to happen. And then she turns on the light. Oh, it's just the painting. And so she walks farther, and then like the lights just blow out. And then the shadow of the nun starts following across the room and goes behind the painting. And then it's like hands wrap around. It's fucking great. It's so what... Anyways, so then they end up being asked by the church to go to this family in England to see if it's a hoax. Because people are thinking it's a hoax. This little girl is like having an episode. She might be a schizophrenic. She's having a breakdown because their father left. And so they need the Warrens to go there, not to get involved, but they want them to observe because they're familiar with this stuff. And the Warrens actually have gone to places like, this is a hoax. This is stupid.
Yeah.
You know, they're using blah, blah, blah. So their father said, hey, not their little father, their church father said, go there for us. Let's see if it's real. So they're going there observing, and they don't buy it right away. No matter what's happening to this little girl, all this evidence they have a picture of her levitating, but it looks like she's just jumping off her bed. The Warrens didn't take it. It's the people that were there before them.
Yeah.
And they said, I don't know, what she's saying. I'm not sure. It's not making a lot of sense, but it could just be schizophrenic. And then they let these characters breathe more, and they said, well, we used to love listening to Elvis, and our dad took all our Elvis albums. So the next scene is the Warrens saying, Janet might be making this up with the ghost or spirit in their house, but isn't our job to help families? We need to help mend them. So they go and they bought Elvis Blue Hawaii, and they were going to play it for him, but their record player doesn't work. So Patrick Wilson says, oh, is that your guitar? He sits down and starts playing Why Do Fools Fall in Love?
Ugh.
And it has a scene where the kids start singing it and the mom starts crying. And then he looks at Vera Farmiga and starts singing it to her, and she starts crying. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? It's this really touching scene about the Warrens helping this family because they can't cope with their father being gone.
Yeah.
And maybe she's lashing out because of that. And so the whole film is what happened to them real?
Yeah.
Is this little girl lying? Is she lying about what's happening?
Yeah.
Is she making voices in her mouth? Because they even have this one point where they record her with the man's voice, but she doesn't want to be looked at. So they say, okay, put water in your mouth so we can see if you're making the voice or not. And she says, well, he won't talk to me if you're looking at him. So they turn away, and then the voice comes. But James Wan shoots it in a way where the little girl's out of focus. You can see like a spirit going behind her. Really brilliant. But so, it obviously does the voice. And then they turn back, and she spits out water. And then they have a conversation like, well, she could have just taken another drink when she was done and then spit it out. So they play on, is this real or not?
Yeah.
And are you going to, buy this story or not? So I'm not going to spoil the ending of the movie. But what's impressed me most is the wonderful directing style, the sound design, and treating this movie seriously and not, oh, it's a horror movie with lots of jumps.
Yeah.
Of course there's jumps and it's a haunting movie, but at the same time, I mean, I'm watching a movie where a dude's singing Why Do Fools Fall in Love, making these kids happy again because their whole point is for their family to be together.
Yeah.
And they're thinking maybe if we do this, the hauntings in quotes will stop,
right?
And the family can get back to being normal.
Yeah.
And it's just a wonderful scene, and seeing it, and actually the score in the movie is fantastic. They have this like happy theme at the end. I won't tell you what happens at the end, but Patrick Wilson has this great little scene with Janet where she talks because no one believes her that she's being possessed. So she asks both Lorraine and Ed the same question, and they both kind of give the same answer. And Ed talks about how his father didn't believe him, but he started wearing a crucifix around his waist because he knew if he always had God and he believed in God, that he could get through anything. And it's okay if no one else believes you. If you believe in your heart that something's true and you want to help people, that's what you do. And that's why I wear this crucifix. And at the end of the movie, he gives it to Janet and he says, you just have to promise me when you get older that you give it to somebody else who needs help. And it's just like this scene that you're like, am I watching a fucking horror film?
Yeah.
It's like a drama with horror elements around it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a great movie. The Conjuring 1 is really great too. The only thing it doesn't have, The Conjuring is really famous for like this hand clapping scene where they're playing hand clap. It doesn't really have one of those scenes, but I would trade that scene for the scene of him playing guitar and singing it to the family, trying to mend the family any day. Because you don't see it in horror films. You don't see a horror film that's 2.5 hours long that lets people be characters.
Yeah.
You know, because at the end, it's about the love of Ed and Lorraine. It's really interesting.
Huh.
It's really, and it ends in a place you don't think it would end. You always expect like a jump scare, something stupid to happen at the end.
Yeah.
Nope.
Wow.
It ends with them dancing.
Oh.
To Elvis.
That's cool. All right. I don't know that
That's not the end of the haunting story.
No, yeah,
but that's the end of the Ed and Lorraine story, and I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I convinced you, but I will say that there's character moments that will surprise you in this film.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you also gave me a whole lot of horror movie, and I'm like, yeah, that's the part I don't like.
Yeah.
But that sounds really good.
Yeah, it's
you certainly could.
And I don't worry, I left out about 40 minutes of horror in it.
Right.
Because I don't want to spoil it for people.
Oh, totally. I think at the very least, you convinced me that your argument that James Wan is the best horror director of all time is very well founded.
Yeah, he might not be.
Or at least you made a pitch that plays on my sensibilities.
I guess I should say
right?
he has the foundations for being the greatest horror film director of all
Right.
time.
Yeah.
Because he takes elements that you wouldn't expect. I haven't seen his first movie was Saw, and I think the first Saw is actually a really great piece of cinema because it's way different than anything that came before it.
I mean, except for 7, which is a whole lot better. But yeah.
Not going to get into that argument. I'm not going to get into that argument.
This is just me
But
being a
yeah,
dick.
if you, I know, Zach was latching onto the horror elements because the way he shoots it, that opening scene in Amityville is pretty terrifying.
It sounds
That's what
amazing.
so is that what they were thinking of when they were saying this is the Avengers of Conjuring of horror films?
Yeah,
where they're like,
because they
mention all these real life cases.
Exactly. Because it's because that's the one. And this is why I like The Conjuring 2 too. Is that's the one everybody wanted them to do. They wanted them to do the Amityville, and they decided to do a different one, and it tells a more intimate story.
Yeah,
because the Amityville is sensational. I mean, it's about a dude who murdered his family and said he was possessed by a demon.
Right.
So that's sensational. You get one. Well, they said this one is the most documented paranormal activity ever. I've never heard of it, but it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And there's lots of horror elements I left out, and there's some really chilling moments in it. Because at the same time, if you're going in that this young woman is making this up and what she's doing, she needs help.
Yeah.
And that's where the Warrens come in and say maybe she needs to turn to something else besides that. And I think that's too why, Ed Warren was giving her the crucifix and saying, hey, you might not have all the answers, but seek the answers that you need help with.
Yeah.
It's a really fascinating story wrapped in a horror film.
Yeah.
And it does, there's some horror elements. I'm like, But when it's effective, it's super effective.
Is there any? I mean, it's funny because you sort of touched on this at the beginning, but is there anybody other than your big ones like a George Romero who really stays in horror for their whole career? Right,
No.
like James Wan, though he's doing something.
He
different.
did. Well, he did Furious 7.
That's true.
And he's doing Aquaman next.
Yeah.
But he said after when he was doing Furious 7, he didn't know if he was ever going to do a horror film again. But
Yeah.
he went back because I think he knows how to tell the stories.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said,
Well, and these are obviously him doing something different, right? Like he's not just doing.
Oh,
Saw,
yeah.
Right. It's not just like, hey, we're gonna murder people.
And you know, even from Conjuring and Conjuring 2 are way different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he uses the same kind of camera techniques.
Yeah.
And that's, his style. It's like I could pick out a Sam Raimi camera movement
Right.
out of anywhere, and that's his style, and it works well. But like I said, he keeps things, the beats that you expect out of lesser directors, where it's just, jump scares. And this is why I like Scott Derrickson, too, is you can have jump scares, but you have to time them different for people like me,
Right.
where I know where to expect them.
Right.
So like I said, you put Vera Farmiga in the bottom right-hand corner, and behind her's nothing but black and like silhouettes.
Yeah.
You expect something to come out, but when you don't deliver, the time when she's in the room and that demon's behind her, it works.
Right.
And like I said, even then, he faked you out too. It's like, oh, that's the painting.
Yeah.
But there's something terrifying of her following a shadow going all the way across the room to that painting and wrapping its hand around its painting and coming through the painting.
Yeah.
Like there's something effective about it. And I think someone like that, I would love to see have an opportunity on a Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Give it some pedigree. Give
Yeah.
it some a different look. Because I love Friday the 13th, but you're applying to the lowest common denominator of horror, where you're just having some dude walk around murdering people. Put it in somebody's hands who's a talented filmmaker who will change the beats of the film. I think that's why his Conjuring films have worked so well. Because the first one, too, he doesn't play by the rules. He doesn't amp up it at the end. He amps it up in a certain way, but it's not just like the Paranormal Activity movies. They always drove me crazy because it'd be like, oh, a ball goes across the room. And then the next night it's 2 balls go across the room. You know what I mean? The most terrifying scare of this movie probably happens about 50 minutes into the movie. Because he's playing on the fact that this might not be real. You
Yeah.
might just be seeing a girl who wants attention.
Yeah.
And as her partner.
Yeah, like he's setting up, hey, sometimes this is real.
Exactly.
I'm going to show you a case where it's real.
Exactly.
And then after that, we're going to tell a story where maybe it's real, maybe it's not.
Exactly.
And the tension just will build naturally out of that.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
That's cool.
It's not just A to B.
Right.
He goes into different places. And like I said, that scene where he's Patrick Wilson singing is maybe one of my most favorite horror film scenes of all time. Because the context and the emotions and the depth and the layers it had in that one scene sold me on the whole freaking film.
Yeah.
I mean, and I love Vera Farmiga, so.
Yeah. And Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, Patrick Wilson's great.
They're great. Who did the Insidious movies?
He did.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah, he did the first one. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
think he did
He
the
did the
second
second one.
I only
Did
saw
he do
the second one
too.
Yeah, Lee Winnell directed the third
That's
one.
right.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I think I saw the second one.
Yeah, the second one's okay.
We reviewed one of them.
Yeah.
And that's the only one I saw.
The second one's okay. But he's still, again, he's a great director. So, I guess his Aquaman should be fun.
Fast and Furious 7, the third best Fast and Furious movie.
Yep. The Rock picks up a huge machine gun that came out of it.
Daddy's got to go to work.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what we saw this week. Sorry, that's a really long Conjuring 2 explanation, but I really had to get those character moments in it.
No, dude, it's okay. Yours was more interesting than mine.
And like I said, I left out all the horror stuff pretty much.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
The parts that you would not care about.
So let me ask you this. Do you think I would like this movie? And I know that's a really tough question because
I honestly
surprised you before.
I would say no.
Okay.
But I think you would appreciate the character moments in the movie.
Okay. That's actually my gut feeling as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think when it gets to the horror part, I think that's when it will lose you.
Yeah. That's when I'm going to sit there and be like, fuck this. I hate this.
But I will say the most
for the record, not because it doesn't work for me.
No,
it works really well on
yeah,
me. I sit in those horror movies and I'm like, fuck this. I'm so uncomfortable.
See,
this is so terrible.
What's cool, this is what cool James Wan does too. So there's a little boy in it who has a speech impediment, and his sister Janet helps him get over it with this really creepy. I don't even know what they're called, but they like have the paper in them. They spin around and animates like it's a lamp.
Fuck. It's not a call to fuck.
I'd buy it if it was.
Yeah.
But anyways, it recites this poem called The Crooked Man. It's like
Zoetrope.
There you go.
Zoetrope.
Yes. We knew someone would find it. So the Crooked Man walked to his crooked house. And
Yes.
you know it.
I know the Crooked Man.
So
yes.
it's this really creepy thing.
It is really creepy. Yeah.
And so that's the horror element in it is the
poem.
manifestation of the Crooked Man. Is it real? I don't know.
Oh, weird.
Well, I mean, I do know, but is it? But that's the emotions they play with because, I mean, they have a scene where they use that terrifying story for Janet to teach her little brother Billy to get over his speech impediment.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. It's like a rhyme. It's hard for him to say.
Right.
And, it's just little things like that. So when the boy is terrorized by
the Crooked Man,
by the Crooked Man, in quotes,
yeah,
so it's playing on your emotions because he finds comfort in that. But what happens when something you find comfort into attacks you?
Yeah.
Or does it attack him?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Next week we're totally switching gears. We'll be seeing Finding Dory.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
Sometime in our schedule with Denver Comic-Con.
Yeah, we will be at Denver Comic-Con. We will have a new booth all set up and
it's really exciting.
Looking nice.
I'm really excited for this year.
So it'll be very fancy. Make sure you stop by and say hi. I'm sure a lot of our listeners will be there. Yeah. Cool. That was a long episode.
Yeah. We had 3 movies to review.
You did.
So,
see you at Denver Comic-Con. And till next week, bye.
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 Suck my balls.
Growing up, you don't see the writing on the wall. Passing by, moving straight ahead, you knew it all. But maybe sometime if you feel the pain, you'll find you're all alone. Everything has changed. Play the game. You know you can quit until it's won. Soldier on. Only you can do what must be done. You know it's some way you're alive like me. You're just a prisoner, and you're trying to break free. I can see a new horizon underneath those blazing skies. I'll be where the eagles flying higher and higher. Gonna be a man in motion. All I need is a pair of wheels. Take me where my future's lying. Send down those fire.
Real Nerds is a Nebulous Visions multimedia production. We would also like to thank Sparks Mandrill for our music. Additional music from Ben Sounds. Thank you to Alamo Draft House. Thank you to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics. And thank you for listening to the Real Nerds Podcast.